just been bringing the fire. Bringing the fire. I just been bringing the. And they can't stop me. They know that I'm bringing the. I got the fuel in my veins. Trust me, I'm making a name. We are not one and the same. I am on top of the game. I cut out the line on my brakes, and that's why the drive is insane. Heart of a champ, adrenaline rushes is numbing the pain. I'm too competitive, I like the narrative, I don't know best in the league. Who you comparing with, that isn't competitive, top of the throne, it is me. How you moving so when it's speed? I just been bringing the heat. I just been bringing the fire. Been bringing the fire. I just been bringing the fire. And they can't stop me. They know that I'm bringing the. They thought I was underdog. I did not fear not one of y'all. They thought I was underdog. I did not fear not one of y'all. They thought I was underdog. I do not fear not one of y'all. They thought I was underdog. I did not fear not one of y'all. I'm too competitive. I like the narrative. I don't know best in the league. Who you comparing with? That isn't competitive. Top of the throne, it is me. How you moving so when it's speed? I just been bringing the heat. I just been bringing the fire. We're bringing the fire. And they can't stop me. We're bringing the fire. We're bringing the fire. And they can't stop me. They know that I'm bringing the. Please do not get in my way. You cannot drive in my lane. Tires is burning the paint. You don't have nothing to say. This is how legends are made. I know I got what it takes. And I'm not pumping the brakes. And I'm not pumping the brakes. I'm too competitive. I like the narrative. I don't know best in the league. Who you comparing with? That isn't competitive. Top of the throne, it is me. How you moving so when it's speed? I just been bringing the heat. I just been bringing the fire. Bringing the fire. I just been bringing the. And they can't stop me. They know that I'm bringing the. I got the fuel in my veins. Trust me, I'm making a name. We are not one and the same. I am on top of the game. I cut out the line on my brakes, and that's why the drive is insane. Heart of a champ, adrenaline rushes is numbing the pain. I'm too competitive, I like the narrative, I don't know best in the league. Who you comparing with? That isn't competitive, top of the throne, it is me. How you moving so when it's speed? I just been bringing the heat. I just been bringing the fire. Been bringing the fire. I just been bringing the fire. And they can't stop me. They know that I'm bringing the. They thought I was underdog. I did not fear not one of y'all. They thought I was underdog. I did not fear not one of y'all. They thought I was underdog. I do not fear not one of y'all. They thought I was underdog. I did not fear not one of y'all. I'm too competitive. I like the narrative. I don't know best in the league. Who you comparing with? That isn't competitive. Top of the throne, it is me. How you moving so when it's speed? I just been bringing the heat. I just been bringing the. Bringing the fire. We're bringing the fire. And they can't stop me. We're bringing the fire. We're bringing the fire. And they can't stop me. They know that I'm bringing the. Please do not get in my way. You cannot drive in my lane. Tires is burning the pain. You don't have nothing to say. This is how legends are made. I know I got what it takes. And I'm not pumping the brakes. And I'm not pumping the brakes. I'm too competitive. I like the narrative. I don't know best in the league. Who you comparing with? That isn't competitive. Top of the throne, it is me. How you moving so on the speed? I just been bringing the heat. I just been bringing the fire. Bringing the fire. I just been bringing the. And they can't stop me. They know that I'm bringing the. I got the fuel in my veins. Trust me, I'm making a name. We are not one and the same. I am on top of the game. I cut out the line on my brakes, and that's why the drive is insane. Heart of a champ, adrenaline rushes is numbing the pain. I'm too competitive, I like the narrative. I don't know best in the league. Who you comparing with? That isn't competitive. Top of the throne, it is me. How you moving so on the speed? I just been bringing the heat. I just been bringing the fire. Been bringing the fire. I just been bringing the fire. And they can't stop me. They know that I'm bringing the. They thought I was underdog. I did not fear not one of y'all. They thought I was underdog. I did not fear not one of y'all. They thought I was underdog. I do not fear not one of y'all. They thought I was underdog. I did not fear not one of y'all. I'm too competitive. I like the narrative. I don't know best in the league. Who you comparing with? That isn't competitive. Top of the throne, it is me. How you moving so on the speed? I just been bringing the heat. I just been bringing the fire. We're bringing the fire. And they can't stop me. We're bringing the fire. We're bringing the fire. And they can't stop me. They know that I'm bringing the. Please do not get in my way. You cannot drive in my lane. Tires is burning the pain. You don't have nothing to say. This is how legends are made. I know I got what it takes. And I'm not pumping the brakes. And I'm not pumping the brakes. I'm too competitive. I like the narrative. I don't know best in the league. Who you comparing with? That isn't competitive. Top of the throne, it is me. How you moving so on the speed? I just been bringing the heat. I just been bringing the fire. Bringing the fire. I just been bringing the. And they can't stop.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Engage. It is going to be week number 3. Honestly, you don't live unless you're watching the Engage streams. So, hello, welcome. I'm glad you finally woke back up from last week. It was a long hibernation, but guess what? We are back. My name is Keg, and I'm joined by the one, the only, there are no duplicates, Ashervok. How are you, Ash?
Honestly, doing great. It is the number one caster Vok, Ashervok. If you see anybody in the background, no, you don't. Mind your business. That is an entire ghost you are seeing in the first place.
Ghosts.
But yeah, exactly. It is haunted in my household. Not fun stuff. But yeah, having a great day today. Hopefully everyone is too. I mean, I'm ready for some good Marvel rivals in the first place.
Well, we're going to have some fantastic Marvel rivals today. Why don't we take a quick look and see how we ended up with last week? Who are the ones we need to look out for today? And if there's going to be any ghosts in that lobby as well. Can we take a look at the week 2 standings, please? I really want to know where we're going to be heading into.
Yeah, hopefully so, especially considering we are in week 3 now, only one more until we head into our playoffs, if I remember correctly. But hey, week 2 standings with Doncor already leading first with a total of 12 points, 6-0 game count, and a set count of 3-0 at that one. Orion Wanderers and IBI Decoys, of course, tailing at 6 points and 4 points respectively, going neck and neck against plenty of others in our Swiss stages. And then SBA, and of course, Eclipse, tailing at 4th and 5th currently at that point.
Now, like everybody else on planet Earth, I am a brain rot enjoyer, but I'll be honest with you, Ash, I haven't seen Dawncore before on my For You page, so I'm very curious to see how this all plays out for them. I mean, flawless so far, 6-0, 3-0 for the sets, flawless in every statistic possible. They're going to be the ones to beat, but we're not going to be watching them as far as I know early on today.
I mean, true. If I remember correctly, looking back at our list, I believe our first match of today should be Theater versus Orion Wanderers, who last week still at 2-2 in our game count, 2-1 in our set count, still managing to get a respectable, again, 6 points. But I still can't believe the fact you really said a brain rot in Marvel Rivals.
Well, I mean, they're synonymous at this point. I've seen all the Jeff edits. I've seen all the twerking Venoms for a lifetime. But honestly, I mean, that's my new Halloween costume this year. I gotta become the
Twerking
Venom? Yes, of course, absolutely.
I don't know, like, I'm concerned. First of all, where are we getting the money to build this costume in the first place? You realize how expensive that is? Like, let's think about the logistics.
I'm gonna go find an actual asteroid.
Well, let's think about that. I'm trying to think, like, I'm genuinely trying to think. Foam,
51.
Black plastic, paint. Ooh, let's not do that. We remember the last time people tried to storm that? It did not end well. True. I genuinely thought people were going to run that, and I was so upset when they didn't, but we need to lock it in. It's INGAGE. We have to lock it in for some Marvel Rivals. Let's get back into it, Keg.
I think the INGAGE land should be at Area 51.
Okay, first of all, that's EU. Let's think about the pricing here in the United States.
I'm sure there's an Area 51 in the EU. Have you heard of the pyramids? Oh, wait, that's not Europe. Have you heard of
No, that's so far off. Okay, wait, you might be onto something. There's going to be somebody in the comments popping up saying, hey, don't diss the Louvre like that.
You're telling me there's never been an extraterrestrial alien at the Versailles? That French castle? Come on now. Downing Street?
You might be onto something. I've only ever watched Doctor Who back in 2014 peak Tumblr era. I'm going to be very real with you.
Yeah, that show was designed for Tumblr. It was around then.
Oh my god, the Super Hulock era? Oh no. That surely was a time. That was a time.
That's what got me off the internet forever. That's why peak brain rot
Really?
We regressed 1,000 years during Super Hulock. But you know what? Doctor Who not added to Marvel Rivals just yet. He's actually going to be in season 4. It was leaked, but we'll have to wait a little bit longer before that comes out, though. We should be getting started with our matchup soon enough. Now, Ash, we've been keeping track of the MRC. We've been keeping track of Marvel Rivals. My big question is, before we get into anything, we're coming into this relatively blind. What can we expect to see for our opening bands of different characters?
Opening bands that I have been seeing, across like multiple places. Say we're going on, I don't know, like Clintar Convergence. I know people have really been hard targeting, the Penny Parker, because, going into this next season, it's like, hey, you've heard of her. Okay, buddy. You can either have, it's like the $1 equation. No, in this situation, Penny still has an insane team up, more or less, coming in with Rock. Either have double BRB Beacon or, in a wild case, double Spider Nest. It's some nasty work. I look at that and I'm like, should this be legal in some games, some tournaments? Hell no. That's why you have been seeing a lot of target bans. I mean, whether it be with MRC or even in our Grassroots, mostly across like, the EU and even here in NA. It's some nasty work.
I think my favorite tech that I saw coming out yesterday was from Shroud X's team, where we would see the opening of, doesn't matter the game mode, it would be Doctor Strange portal opening, start of round, Penny Nest behind the portal, then you would have the Moon Knight bonk, and it would just flood damage directly onto the enemy. Now, did that ever work?
Nasty.
No, but it was cool looking. Maybe we can see one of these teams make it work here.
It was so funny to watch happen, and then you look and it's like, hey, wait a minute, are we gonna see some damage output from it? And hey, we barely saw any of it. It was good, great idea, bad execution. Let's be very real about it.
Story of my life. Speaking of the story
of my college life, ECI.
Into a new chapter. Yep, same as well. We are getting word that we're heading into our first game of the day. Again, Therada versus Orion Wanderers. Don't really know a lot about these teams except for the last 2 weeks of gameplay. That being said, though, we are open. We are happy to see anything that's new.
Exactly. Well, I mean, speaking of new, Blade next season would be great. It would be awesome. What? Who said that?
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, going into our first game of the day, Orion Wanderers, like we did say previously in week 3, they were week 2, excuse me, right there and getting points. I mean, only at 6, and then hey, which is honestly not a bad start. Hopefully this week before our playoffs, let's see if that's a different story this time around, Keg.
Well, I can already tell you my favorite player in this lobby is Greg. Give him the trophy already. 5 dogs and 1 king. Okay. Aura. But we already have a wealth of bans and reserves set up and ready to go for Hell's Heaven to begin things. Want to make note that we see the Iron Man Punisher ban. What is the idea here for this to take down Orion Wanderers? Not only are you getting rid of flyers early on, you're getting rid of critical elements like the Punisher. That tells me these are target bans and not necessarily just a strategic macro play in mind for Therida's side. They're just getting rid of what's been working for Orion.
I mean, true, you see Punisher bans on either side here. And then when it comes to flyers, it has been the name of the damn game going into this season. It's been fairly painful. If you know, you know. The Iron Man Ultron combo is not a thing to scoff at. But hey, in regards to the Punisher, though, one character that can damage farm pretty much out the ass, right? You have the final judgment set to worry about as an ultimate can peek you around corners. Not a pretty sight to see whatsoever. But Keg, gotta ask about our initial picks so far going in round 1 here.
I like this choice from Hell's Heaven. You have the Groot, Squirrel Girl, a lot of backlining capabilities. Having swords work alongside Hulk will be great for the front line. So there is a really good set line of divisions coming through from the attacking side of Therida. And I think that's going to make a lot of sense and make sure that, most importantly, our 2 strategists completely safe. But this is such a wide open section of Hell's Heaven too that you need to be very, very careful from Therida's side.
And not only wide open, if I remember correctly, this is one section that tends to reconfigure itself at plenty of points, right? Find yourself at high ground right in midpoint, then and there, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm almost certain that wall was the floor 2.2 seconds ago. What in the fresh hell is going on here? And I know when it comes to Groot on either side of Orion Wanderers, as well as Therida, it's going to make it a nightmare having to deal with the Thorn and the Iron Whip walls in the first place here.
Now, swords did lock in. The magic to start things off did swap over to the Winter Soldier. That will be a blessing in disguise. Orion Wanderer, a Human Torch in play. There would have been no counter to a flyer without that Winter Soldier. So good to have him in mind though. No direct hit scan, however.
Of course, trying to set up for the strange portal just maybe. I'm sitting here anticipating it, would not be surprised coming in from Xiao Yang's at the moment. So a Terraforce Cloak to fly out, as well as a Spore Bomb coming into it full force from our Groot, having swapped off the Storm, interestingly enough, not going for that pick, but then the Regeneration Lamps off the domain. Obviously, good start here for Therida.
Back to another portal, however, look at this. 5 dogs, 1 king, breaking the Groot wall. Not a lot of damage coming out from Orion's side to break the Groot walls immediately. Eyes have to be on Kevin Hawk. The Black Panther, they have to find a wealth of melee damage, and let me tell you, the duelists most certainly do. That's going to be a double kill right away, and the majority of Thera melted away. The Squirrel Girl has not found a lot of action. Only 27%, as we already have 20% now on the board for Orion.
Man, not only that, just nasty work coming into it from Orion Wanderer. If you look at the ulti differentials, already we've got some significant buildup coming in. We're going to have Havoc on the Black Panther, which is a flank character, going to be nasty work, especially off the Vibranium Claws, but at this choke point, are at least trying their best for the triangular configuration off the flames. With a shotgun character like that, going to be a tough time having to deal with an Orion Wanderer flyer like this.
And this is looking so good. You have the difference between Greg the Magneto and Zhao Yang the Doctor Strange. An unbreakable shield from the Magneto is going to provide so much more consistency for Orion to make that extra push in. There was a Hulk originally, but because we're on the lava section, that's not going to necessarily be the case. The melees are out now from Zhao Yang, and the Groot is taking a lot of damage. So much so, and he's back to a Sprout. Everybody in Orion is falling, but 62% and counting for this side allows them to continue to rack on this damage, and most importantly, play for the stall game. That's right, Aimbot brings out Cloak and Dagger's Eternal Bond, and finally now they capture it.
Man, only at a modest 4% and counting. Plenty of ways to go for Therda here. But hey, we're talking ultis. Orion would have plenty to use. What I'm guessing here, Spore Bomb leading into Meteor M would be the, the key play. But then I think about if you're not careful enough, how could it really pop off with the nastiest BP ulti we've seen in a hot minute? And of course, Swords possibly be able to counter back here. But Aura, I can already tell right now, he's setting up for a flank point off the Supernova. And if you are Therda, having to watch out for that in the sky. Spore Bomb already leading into the Supernova. Fire Nados abound, and I figured this would be nasty work.
A nasty hot BP, huh? Oh, I'm set up and ready for it. Once again, this Human Torch has no counters at all. It has been free real estate for Aurora with no counter whatsoever. A meltdown quite literally against Therda once again. Therda's relied so much on their ult dumps, but once more, they have to go for it. User does have the Squirrel Tsunami, but keep in mind too, that's not going to affect the Human Torch.
And not at all. Also love the power of prediction. Now sitting here thinking, okay, we can go Spore Bomb in the Meteor M, or it's probably going to be Spore Bomb already leading into the Supernova. But that aside, User finally able to find someone off the slingshot. Swords in turn off the Glock. But now we have the Meteor M coming out in full force. Xiao just trying to shield against it as best as possible, not finding its intended target. And now the unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami doing plenty of work in its stead.
Oh, great ult dump from Therda's side. Used it so concisely. Arrow was forced to back away. The only way you can beat this Human Torch is to get rid of all the supplementaries that help them out. Get rid of the strategist. There's not a lot of protection for them outside of Hale, who swaps over to the Emma Frost and Magneto themselves. That might be the way in for Therda to take this back.
I mean, hell, hopefully so. Putting down a wall, at least trying to maximize some damage here. Let me tell you, these Thorn Whips, it can get pretty nasty, especially with a brute intel, but have seen right through it. The Diamond Burst just right through. And now Orion Wander, at least trying their best to retake point here. It's 64% and counting for Therda. We're able to counter back either the Spore Bomb or the Eye of Agamotto, both in conjunction, and try and stop this next push.
So happy you mentioned that, Agamotto. I'm expecting that to come down any moment. Therda should be having Zhao Yang's portal back any moment from now. 3 minutes, it's a nebulous number. I'm not sure if it's been reconfigured yet again. Backlining, though, for Cavahawk alongside a disconnect for Orion Wanderer. That's not where you want to be in an official like this, but he's got to put in work. Black Panther ult is out through the group walls, finds zero impact. In fact, it's met with a bullet to the head from Swords instead. Not the place you want to be. And it seems like we already know who should be getting round number one.
I mean, absolutely, that Spore Bomb being placed down, but everyone just pretty much out-healed at once. And now if you are Aura, trying your best to stay alive, at least in the moment. Same could be said for Half right now. Able to find another onto Swords. So at least no more Bucky in the meantime.
Hey, reconnect though from Eddie level. Back again, two strategists back into the fray is absolutely what you want to see. Once more taking full control of the site, bringing Supernova out to flush out anybody. But unfortunately, it seems like it may have been too late. Oh, maybe in the favor of Aurora, they were able to take OT and capture it all, bringing things to Super Soldier Factory.
Of course, now we're going from a point that can reconfigure itself, really place you at high points and you don't want to, into Super Soldier Factory, which, let's be very honest, has some high points that can be devastating depending on which character you want to pick here. We have seen a lot of Moon Knight go into it, especially being able to utilize the Onks in the Crescent Blade, and the tunnel choke points where you just all of a sudden, it's like, hey, why am I hearing Wrath of Khonshu pop from behind me? Am I cooked? Well, yes. In this situation, though, I imagine not seeing any swaps. Exactly. In this situation, I imagine we're not going to be seeing any swaps, at least in the moment. One thing that was questionable the last time, the Squirrel Girl wasn't exactly the best pick, in my opinion.
See, it's so sad when people say that, because I agree with you, you're right, but this can be such a fire Squirrel Girl map in the same exact vein.
It's just not
but you have a Human
out.
Torch against you, but now he has to play a lot lower to the ground. There's a possibility to bring out the Squirrel Girl here, but instead triple Vanguard, double strategist as single duelist. I think if you swap to double Vanguard and then triple strategist, this is the most meta pick you could possibly have for this map. Both wait and see if three bulky people will work out.
I mean, hell, we've seen the triple Vanguard work almost a little too well in at least some key situations, but this one might be a little different here. But now you're going for the brawl setup, especially with the grab confirmed. Speaking like this, like fighting games, I have to stop myself, but not stopping anytime soon. Off the Meteor M, still able to find Swords, but Xiaoli's countering back off the AoE damage against Altavel.
Yep. great down B parry coming out from the Fire Emblem character of Emma Frost. A great meltdown from Greg. Greg the unstoppable. Greg, they have families, but not anymore. Luckily though, Aimbot does have Eternal Bond to work off of. Zhao Yang should have a portal available. Easy portal, maybe into Eternal Bond could help save the day. But Kevhawk is almost built up for his ultimate. He's ready to go for the backline flank.
I mean, true, the ideal situation if you want to push in Eternal Bond to fight in and confirm that next team fight, but on the same side, Orion, they would have being able to use the mind control to at least stop what you can after the fact or even during, but at the same time, you don't want to risk that much damage farm going into the side of Thera right now, but Aura saying, no, I'm not giving up on this. Hey, wait a minute, off screen, Kevin able to find 3 off of an insane BP dash. Vibranium Claws completely sunk into Thera.
That triple kill was simply too much for Twitch. We would have been TOS from there. But luckily, those swords, they did go for that early swap out of the Winter Soldier. Zhao Yang was like, please put me on WS, dude. I got this. But they both got massacred in the process. There is a Supernova out now from Aurora. He's doing a great job chipping away damage away from the Vanguards on Thera's side. Remember though, this is a great way to farm up all 4 of those strategists. Can it be enough? The answer is seemingly no. Both of them have been expelled, getting directly onto the site. Pressure is out, but the Psionic Seduction is out, and the Mommy Beam seemingly finds quite a few. Luckily though, these Vanguards are able to hold their own. Greg and Hale Psionic Seduction of their own should be a great counter, but they need to bring it out now!
It has to be now, and in this situation cannot get any closer, but Swords at least able to get another off the Night Sword Thorns instead, half of the trade out. One Emma damage you love to see, but now no Spore Bomb at least just yet thrown out off the Thorn walls, but Greg still able to confirm another peak elimination. Kevin doing the same, and now if you are Therda, just given no choice but at least run back as best as possible. Greg making it an impossibility, at least for Zhao Yang.
You gotta give credit to Greg. That is Greg the Conqueror, and he is doing his work once again. What a wonderful job holding back the entire line. Super Soldier Factory in full Greg domain. An easy first game win coming out from Orion Wanderers, and they were seemingly unstoppable, barring one disconnect out of their control.
I mean, hell, that did have me a little concerned seeing the disconnect. I'm like, okay, how can we play off of this? Usually just might be GG's cooked from there, but not the case. I mean, Greg, MVP, 19 eliminations in that first game.
Everything just looked so tight-knit for Orion's side. They had a great idea in mind. 19-3 for Greg. A great way to start things off with 25,000 damage blocked. You really couldn't ask more from the Vanguard. Yeah, 9 final hits. Not bad. You out-final hit a Black Panther main. That's nothing to scoff at.
I mean, absolutely. Now, we did see off-screen, you're like, hey, where's Kev? Has he kind of been a little hidden in the background? And then out of nowhere, 3 kills coming into it off the sweep, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what we're missing. I mean, hell, if we're going for flank setups, especially going into Super Soldier Factory, that's not a bad way to start off your rounds.
It's a certified Black Panther moment. Really worked out well for a domination map like that to start things off. Now, I believe, rumor has it, we are going to Convoy next. I could be mistaken, but I believe that should be Convoy. I don't think the Black Panther is going to work as well on a much larger, more linear map like that. So there is a very good chance Orion Wanderers, they could just be Domination Deandras.
True, but then again, it also depends on which Convoy map we might be going for, right? We have multiple, I mean, obviously we do. See, for a minute I was thinking Convergence, I'm like, okay, we're not going Clintar yet, totally different game mode, but then for Convoy, I think, either Spotter Islands or even Yggdrasil, which has been a little controversial depending on who you ask and can be fairly one-sided depending on team comp or teammates in my rank. But other than that, I imagine this is going to be another barn burner of a set leading into it.
I love burning barns. Just want to put that out there.
I don't think that's good for the environment here. Let's be honest, Keg.
Well, neither for my criminal record. But the thing is, though, is that we do see a double Punisher ban on both sides. That could make things pretty tough for Yggdrasil. And if that continues forwards and there's not a direct counter to a Human Torch, I could definitely see Yggdrasil Convoy going one way.
I mean, true, we were seeing the setup a little bit into our last game that I was expecting a little more potential from the Squirrel Girl, but like you said, and like we noticed, was just getting shut down at all points coming in from or off, the Human Torch in the first place. That shotgun damage off the fireballs, it's nasty work. And then you see below just going into it for the setups off the gate. I was like, okay, not fun in the first place. And then the supernova setups, especially going into Super Soldier Factory, made some choke points almost pretty impossible to even get by in the first place.
I have to take out my spectacles for a second here, Ash. We did get confirmation again about the map rules. And if you're new to the ENGAGE-verse, welcome. But we're here to tell you what's going to be happening next. So round 2 will be Convoy. Now, the losing team from the previous round, that'll be Thera, will get to pick the map of their choice. I actually like that system a lot more. It's not random. Even though you're confined to a single mode, I think that's a much better system. The winning team, though, will get to choose which side they want to start on. I think that's fair.
Okay.
So there is a very good reality. We see Yggdrasil come out. We could see the double Punisher ban. However, if I'm thinking in Black Panther mode, right? Maybe we'd see a swap to a Psylocke.
Ooh, okay. I see the setups here. Considering as dangerous as Psylocke is, right? It's the invisibility buff that really just makes it hard to chase down in the first place, hard to target. And then Dance of the Butterfly can really be impactful, especially in a good chunk of your team fights. On Convoy, no less, would not be a bad choice. But dare I say it, if we're going to get a little more controversial, now more, maybe? I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking more for his play style specifically, because he was a flanker. He likes to hide.
Right.
I guess you could say more realistically, melee for melee, it could be a Wolverine if you're boring like that. Works out well. I think if you want to hit scan that maybe counter a potential flyer that Therda wants to bring out after seeing map number 1, I think that Psylocke would be a great choice too. But we've seen plenty of Wolverines snipe out flyers from the sky. That was littered all over MRC yesterday.
I mean, true, I wouldn't exactly say boring to the Wolverine. I mean, really, let's think about it and really just engage with it. No pun intended, based off the turn we're doing now. Exactly. So let's think about it, right? An insanely volatile tank buster, a shredder, if you will. We saw how much, gameplay that Groot and even Doctor Strange got into our last one, going in our last map. And then into this one, I'm thinking, hey, we do realize we have possibly the Wolverine available if they're not banned in the first place. Go for Kidnap and then pretty much separate and cut you off, and the rest of your backline supports, making it an impossibility to keep yourself alive. Would not be the bad choice.
Well, hopefully we won't have to wait too much longer, though. We should be getting started relatively soon on map number 2. It will be Convoy, and we'll let you know what the map will be probably as we get into the picks and ban screen. Just waiting on confirmation if the teams are ready. We don't know yet.
Maybe you just.
But we will pretty soon.
Okay.
We did have one player need to restart their PC, so we may be waiting on that.
Okay, true. Because I saw that disconnected. I'm like, hey, let's lock it in. And not during this time. It's week 3.
Yeah. I mean, look, the stakes are high. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did you have an MVP for game number 1?
Game number 1. I mean, obviously, Greg.
Oh yeah, of course, Greg the Conqueror.
Right. Okay.
Oh, it sounds like we're getting word now. Thanos is telling us that we are ready. We should be going into game now. Picks and bans should be ready.
Okay, looking forward to it. Let's get into it, Keg. I'm excited for it in the first place. Already getting started with our picks, and that's a Magneto ban and a Protect. Are we really surprised by that?
I'm a little surprised, all things. Oh, actually, no, it's from Orion's side. Yeah, I am surprised, actually, because we didn't see a Magneto come out from Therda at all. We saw a Doctor Strange, we saw an Emma, and we saw a Groot. We saw everything but the Magneto.
We saw a brief glance of a Hulk, too, but in, second case going into it, off of the first set, I should say, kind of did get swapped out a little early. But the Luna Snow Protect coming out in full force, want to add to the sustainability that you need here.
I'm pretty sad we didn't see that Hulk come into any fruition from Therda's side. I think the initial team comp they wanted with the Magic and the Hulk could have found a lot of value, especially anti-Black Panther. It just didn't end up materializing, and that's pretty disappointing. Therda, though, I will say, they are destroying in these bans. They've targeted the Black Panther. They've targeted the Human Torch. They've found exactly the 2 duelists and the 2 biggest factors that shut them down back on Hell's Heaven. And they're saying for Convoy, we're going to make you work for this big game too.
I mean, true, you could say the same for Orion Wander at the moment already. We've gotten the Frost as we grew coming out effect with the triple Vanguard we saw a little earlier. And I'm like, okay, that is pretty interesting. If it works, it works. But in this situation, not going to work out for you, lessening your Vanguard pool. And dare I say it, another potential Punisher ban coming up.
Yeah, pretty much every good Vanguard in the game has been shut down for Therda. So, what do they have? A Doctor Strange? And... ... I think that's pretty much it.
I mean, you have the thing just lingering in the background.
I mean, Thing is pretty good on this site, on this map. Even on the defense, I think he's good at anti-spacing and decent at anti-diving, but I don't see a reality where Theater can't go triple strategist.
Okay, not gonna lie, I got very concerned seeing that last ban. I'm like, that's not that damned shark that I've been seeing a little too much in Jeff. No, it's another something. I got so concerned. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. We're not going that route, are we? What's the point?
Okay. So Greg's gonna have to make major adjustments. Oh, I apologize. I was reading it wrong. No adjustments for Greg the Conqueror. He's definitely the focus for this next matchup. Human Torch banned out. We're leading into a Lord Storm thereafter.
Oh, okay. No.
Well, I mean, you have the Sharknado combo now, so I won't say things are easy street for Therda, but they definitely are coming into this with great counter bans in mind.
See, if we don't swap now, if I'm Therda, and that... the Sharknado works a little too well against them, I would be kicking myself in the butt for hovering over that Jeff ban, knowing full well, hey, that might have been the choice. I can guarantee you that either few of them were thinking, hey, it's possible that Aura might have a Storm in their back pocket. I wouldn't be surprised. That might come back to bite them.
I mean, Lord Storm in the pocket of Aurora, it already shows that they have a lot of experience, but I do want to say, outside of the Groot and the Magneto, there's really not, well, I guess the Storm too is a given. There's really not a lot of damage output from Orion's side. They have to play for a nasty stall game. That Psylocke that Sword has equipped needs to target that Storm and focus the backline, specifically the Jeff, who recently got nerfed, to have a chance to break the stall.
I mean, absolutely. If you want to have anything in your back pocket, it's get rid of that shark first in the first place. You got Greg right now, however, looking at the shield charge, especially can damage farm as best as possibly healed, but of course downstairs, I should say upstairs. Howlett is trying to best, no Spore Bomb out at least just yet. And if you are Therda, the Penny Parker, interestingly enough, one of the plays for that stall, maybe on the Spider Mines.
And hey, Rocket Network is set up now from Therda's side. They should be able to have a lot more value out of this Penny for the anti-stall as well. Orion, though, like we mentioned, damage output not going to be too heavy, but once one player from Therda falls, it should be dominoes for the rest of the squad. Again, major eyes on the two duelists in the fray here. You need to watch you need to watch Aurora on Storm, and you need to watch Sword on the Psylocke. They are going to be the pinpoint factors. If they can't find value, the team may as well have lost this first point.
I mean, like one attack onto that value on one side of Therda, you would have an aimbot to worry about and a Rocket Raccoon with a Cosmic Yarn Amplifier in tow. But now instead, the Arcane coming out in full force, full Sharknado in effect, or the Jeffnado, I should say, and still able to find two. Becomes the eliminations.
Yeah, and those are two major eliminations as well. That's going to be one of the strategists gone, and I believe on top of that was User, the Squirrel Girl, who was also ruptured away by the watery depths. That's going to make things incredibly tough to find that damage value. Orion, a Wanderer, once again, no signs of stopping whatsoever. A very clean T1 with no opposition.
No, not too bad at all. Now, we're talking damage differentials, I should say, ulti differentials. And the side of Orion Wanderer, you'd have three to at least worry about. That Eternal Bond and Meteor M might be the two to make the impact play. If not, that Groot Bomb. It's going to be, I should say, the Strangling Prison is going to be the thing to reach at you for a loose. Still playing pressure off the Spider Mines in turn. And if you want to go to Spider Rush, I mean, hell, that would be a pretty interesting time if the Eternal Bond doesn't take you first.
Well, if there's going to be a major ult coming out soon from Therda, it needs to be that Fate of Both Worlds. But Greg is set up and ready with Meteor M to shut it down as soon as it blooms. It's a game of chicken. Who can block first? We'll have to wait and see. Eternal Bond could very well be set up and ready from any level. It is. But no, any level falls. A triple, quadruple kill from User, shutting down the entirety of Orion's attack. This is absolutely the valve needed from Therda to help release some of the pressure and give themselves some breathing room. But don't worry though, Ash. 3 Almost 4 minutes left on the clock for this attack.
I'm gonna be so real with you. I was expecting a spider sweep, but at that point, you didn't really need it. The unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami was just enough to take down Orion Wander, at least in the moment. Some nasty work, and honestly, at a corner choke point like this, leading just the mid-town, I should say. Train station, not bad at all, Keg.
Ola has held on to this Fate of Both Worlds for so long, waiting for the perfect moment to outplace it. Can we see Greg, though, with that Meteor M come back? There it is, the direct counter. They were waiting for Aurora's ult, the Storm to come through. That's going to be the combination. Does not matter how much Fate of Both Worlds you have. No worlds can exist when Storm is available. Greg holds on to the Meteor M through all of that chaos, and yet the entirety of Thera's ult disposal has been used outside of Zhao Yang, who still has their own Agamotto, and they choose not to use it.
I mean, hell, you look at the clock right now. That is 4 minutes and 12 seconds left to go. That's plenty of room for error, but also plenty for movement, possibly coming into it from Thera right now, still on the defense, but now with Orion Wander. A 3D Eternal Bond would be good to at least keep pressure, especially going into it on Convoy. But then if you want the sustainability in this next team fight, imagining from the Luna Snow, was not a bad pick, but hey, in this one, at least right now, the unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami we did see the last time around. I mean, hell, it was some nasty work, and if you are Thera right now, going into it for the Strangling Prison instead, wanted to keep yourself walled off, and now for Orion Wander, that's going to be a triple elimination here for Hale.
What a shutdown. All the while, User had that Squirrel Tsunami set up and ready to go, and it found almost zero impact. It was all down to that Groot to melt down Thera. Now with, again, 3.5 minutes on the clock, the point practically at its finale. What do you do at this point other than hold the line and attempt to play for the stall yet again? Triple duelists are out now, 2 strategists available, a single Vanguard, the only viable one available for Thera's side, and yet it's finding almost zero value. Meteor M is out, the snipe in play. That's going to be, another one. A set of players gone. The strategist, the Hurricane, is out now. What can it find? Just about everything else. The cleanup crew is ready. And Orion Wanderer faced zero challenge once again on this attack.
Oh, the Sharknado out in full effect off the Omega Hurricane. Just ulti for ulti, ban for ban, bar for bar out in full force. And now at 0-3. It's going to be a very steep mountain to climb for Thera here.
Very steep mountain indeed. Again, the idea was for Orion Wanderer to not really have a whole lot of attack at their disposal outside of the Storm. But instead, the entire team was setting up for Storm to farm their ult over and over and over again alongside 5 dogs and 1 king to get themselves the Sharknado. There's steamroll the back line. And now Thera, they have to be the ones to play for the stall.
I mean, Keg, I do have to ask, especially going into our comp setups, what is your opinion on Thera's defense the last time, especially trying to hunker it down off both the Squirrel Girl as well as Penny Parker?
I mean, I like the idea initially, but I think once things start to break down for Thera and they start making panic character swaps to what they're more comfortable with, they don't really have cohesion as a team.
Right.
And speaking of cohesion right now, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of that. Zhao Yang swapping away now from the Vanguard to a Human Torch. You have the triple duelist, the double strategist. I mean, it's going to be an all or nothing composition here. And I think there's just so much assassination capabilities off of Cavahawk on this Psylocke that Zhao Yang needs to play this very carefully.
He needs to play carefully and precise at that one, especially from the side of Orion Wander, who honestly very few swaps even in the first place. Honestly, major changes coming into it from Thera, like you pointed out. Zhao Yang's now in a Human Torch, trying to go for the flyer capability instead. Maybe even shut down Cavahawk off the Psylocke. But I say that and we're already just getting far for pressure down for damage on the side of Thera.
That's right, there we go. Wealth of damage being brought out from Zhao Yang's side. Takes a while now to build up the Human Torch ultimate, and good thing at that, 45%. Cavahawk though, chip damage into play. Really trying to build up for that backline dance of the butterflies. Gotta say though, at least early on, this has been a good defense for Orion Wanderer. Aurora does fall to the hands of this Hela, whose name I cannot pronounce. But a really good snipe, and that alleviates a lot of pressure against Thera to allow them to push this payload beyond this initial choke.
If you are Swords, you would have the maximum pulse bomb out in full force. Against Orion Wander, you want to duck for cover the minute you hear that line. I mean, either that, or find yourself some good shielding in the moment. But for Theater right now, he's gaining ground as best as possible, trying to heal as best as possible, coming in from 5 dogs right now. Same can't be said for Altaville, having to make the momentary swap over to Cloak, and would have the Eternal Bond on deck in the moment.
Major ultimates online now for both teams. Theater especially, the Ion Cannon from Swords could absolutely destroy this entire clump of Orion on the forefront. Can they remove the front line specifically? We'll have to wait and see. The Eternal Bond set up and ready to go. It's just a matter of finding the perfect opportunity, but a dash to the Butterflies denies any chance. All of Theater pushed back into their own spawn yet again. The payload is miles away from them. 6 ultimates set up and ready to go. 11 in the server, ready for World War III. And it all starts in New York.
If I had to predict which ultimates are going to shine first, at least in the side of Orion Wander, that Jeff NATO would be the impact play. But then to protect against that, you'd have to have Aimbot coming into it off the Eternal Bond. Maybe even the Invisible Barrier from Bulla. But at the same time, if you want damage, Swords, hell, if you want to pop that maximum pulse bomb in the flank, it would be the time to do it. I say that, though, already going in off the wall, damage coming in from Haleb. And now missile launch into the Eternal Bond, at least downstairs. Power prediction, love when it happens. Now trying to hard target, especially leaving a vulnerable Cloak and Dagger, but maybe not in the moment, as 2 on the side of Theater go down and out. One to Kevin released last second off the dash forward and pushed all the way back to spawn.
Mutually assured destruction though. Zhao Yang brought out Supernova, countered immediately by the Eternal Bond of Eddie Level. No one else is using their ultimates. Kevahawk does fall to the hands of Swords. A great counter for what should be the opposite side. A really good chance to have Swords reposition once again. There to regain control of the payload, but it's been pushed back quite a bit since that initial engagement. They haven't even gotten past that first initial bend. The choke points with plenty of time on the clock. Just kidding, it's a minute left. Not a whole lot. They have to make do. Now with Swords ultimate into the back line. Ion Cannon in the reverse does not find impact. It's Greg instead of the Meteor. And there it is. The ultimates are flooding out.
No!
Riot is melting Therda. And with so many ults left, Therda, they have to play the respawn game. They're staggered. They've lost control again. And Zhao Yang, maybe an Agamotto, but now they have to play for their own respawn. 20 seconds left. There's no time for a group push. They have to go in now.
Oh man, Keg, remember what I said earlier about that some target bans, or bans I should say in the first place, might come back to bite you in the butt. And if you are Theater right now, want to imagine a few things, regretting not when he gets back in the Groot, but even more so, it's the Jeff pick earlier that has been leading to a lot of destruction and demises, especially in conjunction off the Storm. But now if you are Theater, one last chance, especially E2R overtime, only 3 pushing convoy. Now for Orion Wander, not wanting to give it up or give up space in the first place. I say that. And Halep was kept fine too, with the Spider-Man swap now in full force, full effect. And the Invisible Barrier can only keep you alive for so long, as now Xiao another swap into the Wolverine. And that last stand would have to be the play.
Oh, Desperation Wolverine pick needs to alleviate the pressure. Still in the control of Therda though. They have a chance of making point number 1. Deep into overtime though. This is not the position you want to be in. Ion Cannon is out, but it misses the snipe. The Storm opportunity, a perfect chance to now remove what's left of Therda. A great double ultimate combo. Keeps at least one alive. But as they hold on to the site more and more, Orion Wanderer, they reclaim the payload for the final time. A great way of getting a clean sweep into the series. And we say goodbye to Therda for today.
That is so ridiculous, the amount of damage stack we see in the last second, to a point. Back-to-back Storm ultis within minutes of each other, off of farming, and to nobody's surprise, or off the MVP. 33 eliminations, only 2 deaths, and 21 assists.
Just so concise coming out from Orion Wanderer. They know their roles, they know exactly what they want to play, and Orion Wanderer, once again, they knew to feed most of their energy directly into the Storm. 33-2. That's a pretty good scoreline, all things considered. A bit of a quieter game for Keva's side, but honestly, again, we're comparing a 33-2 Storm to a 12-4 Spider-Man. Like, I think they still did a pretty good job.
A pretty good, Helen. Okay, a great job. Even me see the amount of damage stacked. But then I want to take a look at our final hits coming in from Aura and Greg. 18 and 10 final hits is wicked work.
Wildly wicked. I mean, what could you possibly do at that point if you're Thera, right? They made so many desperation swaps, and again, it's a team that has a great game plan in the beginning of a round, but once they start getting pressured, it's not counter swapping as a team, it's individual character counter swaps, which can work, and they did work on an individual level, but not on the bigger picture where the Storm was absolutely the problem from round number 1, game 1, and never really saw much pressure against them.
I mean, true, especially going into, the next one with Thera at least leading the charge on attack. We saw, plenty of swaps abound. I mean, hell, it was just back and forth until finally seeing the Wolverine coming out in full force, which I'm like expecting to see in the first place. But then it was very last second, and, desperation, it happened. And for a few brief seconds, I thought, okay, is it going to work? Is it not? Maybe trying to hard target Vanguards and go for that pressure in front line. And then the last stand, just kind of felt a little weak, especially playing against shields here.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of great opportunities in mind from Thera, but unfortunately, we just didn't really get to see too much of it. It just felt like Orion Wanderers had all the opportunities they wanted to, and they just never really got countered a whole lot. It's just a matter of seeing whether or not that can change, and people can study the film against Orion and see if they can finally find the way to break open that storm and take them away. I do want to, before we say goodbye for Thera, for real, in this broadcast, do want to say I think they've played the best counter bans we've seen so far in the series. It's just a matter of seeing whether or not, again, people can counter them in the future.
I mean, true. And then seeing Orion being able to counter the counter bans was not what I had on my wish list anytime soon, but hey. It happens, where we saw essentially hard target bans coming into it off the Human Torch, and then all of a sudden, hey, I think Aura might have a storm. Do we want to be a little more careful about this? And then look what happened.
Yeah, you got rid of the Human Torch into a storm, and you may have unlocked Pandora's box. But speaking of Pandora's box, we've opened it in the back room. We got to go close it really quick, and it's all hands on deck. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to go to a short break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Maybe. We're trying to close the box.
Question mark. I don't know. It's been open for a little
Pandora?
too long here, Keg.
Oh, no. I'm getting sucked into the black hole right now.
Are we talking about the box or the phone app?
There's a phone app?
Yes, Pandora. Have you never heard of Pandora?
Oh, the music
app.
One. No, because I don't live in 2015.
First of all, 2009. Get it right.
Oh, that supports my argument more.
It was so good back then. That was our first Spotify. I don't want to hear it.
The OG. How about Sirius
Yes,
XM? How about
OG.
records?
Okay, but you had to pay for Sirius XM. That was a little too much.
You're not paying for Pandora?
No, I'd use free trial.
Now we're going to a break. Okay, goodbye. Well, hello. We are back once again. Pandora's box certainly did take a while to close. Unfortunately, we did lose many good serving men in the process. But luckily, though, we somewhat survived, Ash. How were you during the ordeal?
Kind of doing great. I look and I'm like, hey, that box, now that I think about it, do we end up putting a padlock on that or no?
No, we didn't.
Oh, we're cooked.
But good. I want to be cooked. I want to be nice and roasted, medium rare. Luckily, though, we do maybe have some roast coming up into the future. We are cooking up a wonderful game up ahead of us. We actually have 2 sets of really good games in the bracket, so if you haven't checked it out already, make sure to go to Start GG for INGAGE for their Marvel Rivals tournaments. We have Orion Wanderers versus the unstoppable, still continuing to be flawless Dawn Corps, who has gone through the entirety of these last 3 weeks without a single map, not set, including a set, but not a single map lost.
Okay, so that's going to be some scary stuff. Then we have Orion Wanderers coming in off of last time, but then Dawn Corps, right, who are essentially and quite literally undefeated leading into this one. And I'm like, okay, the immovable object versus the unstoppable force is what I'm hearing here.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, Isaac Newton would love this team. Maybe he's their coach. I don't know. But we also have on the other side, Iron Protocol versus Therda. Unfortunately, Therda, not the best performance in the world when it came up to their last series. But luckily for them, they have a chance to go up against the new guys that we don't really know a whole lot about, which is Iron Protocol. This is their first week joining ENGAGE, and so this is their time to show their stuff and see what they're made of.
And absolutely plenty of time for that. But at the same time, can't feel that they gave it their all the last time around. I'm like, okay, we have some good ideas. Possible great execution just against Orion Wanderers wasn't really the best setup to try it there. Hopefully against Iron, maybe they can try it at least there.
I mean, hey, if you want to go up against your potential future rivals, you have Orion Wanderers going up against the most flawless team. If I'm Therda, I'm looking, maybe watching their footage in the future after this matchup and seeing what can we do to beat these guys that we couldn't figure out ourselves, and maybe they have the key to success. Luckily, though, we don't have to wait too much longer before we get into game number 1. It should be starting shortly. I'm really curious to see how Dawn Corps has been playing. The fact that they haven't lost a single map yet. I don't know what their secret sauce is. Ash, don't die on me. Oh. Oh no. All right, well, we are waiting for Ash to recover. Oh, Ash is back. Hello.
Are we back?
Recovery.
Okay, we're back.
Yes, you're back.
That
I
got
got
very
worried
scary.
for a second. How could I close Pandora's box by myself?
Exactly, I got worried too. I mean, well, if it has good Wi-Fi, we might need to keep it open. It would be appreciative, but no, we're back.
That's good. You know, we have men in the back opening the box right now just to make sure your Wi-Fi gets through, but not open too much because we don't want to have the massacre happen again.
Again? Whoa. I feel we're like Marvel Rivals now, but I feel I'm missing out on important lore, and I'm kind of concerned.
I mean, that was just the break lore. I mean, I've heard rumor on the street is that we're going to be having a break again after this series, and I don't know if we're equipped for it, Ash. We might have to send a lot more condolence letters.
Chat, I feel I'm missing out on so much. You're probably sitting there thinking, hey, who are these 2 American casters and where the hell did my professionalism go? I am so sorry. Oh, I know you're not talking. Pot calling the kettle black. Oh, goodness.
But
SMH.
luckily, though, Pandora's box is locally operated inside of America. But we'll have to keep on waiting a little bit longer. We are still stalling for time as we get ready into the next series. I believe we are covering Iron Protocol versus Therda. I could be mistaken. Both one of these games will be played offline. Honestly, no matter what, we're going to have a banger.
Exactly. I mean, hell, we had a banger in our last match. Not gonna lie, it is so funny to me, right? How I was kind of sitting here guessing, hey, you know how funny it would be if they're to kind of win for a Jeff ban to see how that would work in the first place. And now I'm sitting here kind of considering it. Maybe it could have helped them a little in the long run, right? Healing output isn't exactly there, but we did see how Orion handled the Jeff NATO almost a little too well leading into things. You ban one flyer, you get the other.
Sure, but let's not say that Storm's ult is useless without
Oh, I
Jeff,
know.
too, right?
I
Like, it
know.
is
It's
still
still
very
great,
strong.
but it was
They would have
still
found a
so
way.
goofy to see happen.
I mean, Jeff is just a goofy guy.
True, he's just a silly little guy, unfortunately. Most people would say that. Other people
Unfortunately.
treat... No, because most people would say that. Other people treat Jeff like he's King Von. And it is the funniest difference possible.
I think he's King Von to me. He's my GOAT.
You'd think Armed and Dangerous would be the theme for Bucky in a situation. No, it's Jeff, which is insane to think about.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see. We're just waiting on a few more players to join up, and then we'll be good and ready to go. I don't know what to expect. I mean, the bans, I think, were really spicy in game number 2. They were much more standard in game 1. But, I
Right.
mean, the same thing could happen where we could see maybe more counter bans against Dawn Core. I think that's a much more possibility than maybe newer teams like Therda and Orion Wanderers kind of guesstimating against each other.
True, because we did see some guesstimate bans leading into, our first game going into it, but then into our second one, we saw some very harsh target bans coming into it, right? We saw the Human Torch target ban to give it aura, and then we saw the Black Panther target ban to make sure that Kev did not get a single string off of it. And then the swaps abound. It's like, okay, well, really that didn't do much to stop the force in the first place. But then going into it against Dawncore, if you are, these certain teams wanted to play this and not want to add to their undefeated streak, VOD reviews are going to be necessary. Absolutely.
Absolutely necessary. Will say, though, that Kev did have a slower game when he wasn't able to play Black Panther. I mean, it could be the difference between Domination and Convoy, but the fact that we saw such a big performance out of him on Hell's Heaven and swap over to, what was it, the Psylocke Spider-Man combo on
Right.
Midtown. I mean, it was a slight downgrade, but I think he still performed excellently.
I mean, true, especially going on to our flank points into Psylocke as well. That Dance of the Butterfly did make her some impact plays leading into Midtown, but then really he counterplayed at least for a brief few moments. We saw how Theater came in off the Squirrel Girl, and I'm like, oh, well, that's some nasty work in the first place. We saw it. What was it? Midtown, especially leading into Grand Central Station, the unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami to put you through an insane loop on that one.
Absolutely, an insane Squirrel Tsunami in the process. Looks like we are going in about 1 minute. We're just waiting on the games to reset. What kind of domination map do you think we're going to go to first?
Not gonna lie, I don't want to guess out of fear of predicting the wrong one. So you know what? I'm gonna keep my choice secret
here.
here.
That's the whole point of predicting.
I don't want to.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we go as the Hell's Heaven again. I feel like every time, at least I'm on the cast, or people are just casting in general, it's always Hell's Heaven. So I have a feeling deep down in my gut, we're probably going to see it.
Well, I will say there was one time that I was casting Marvel Rivals and we got Hell's Heaven 5 times in a row. I actually kid you not. And it was the funniest thing possible. It does tend to happen weirdly enough with commentators, huh? It's like a curse.
Yeah, it's the Hell's Heaven curse. That's okay. They know how to choose the best map in the game, for sure.
True. I'll never forget. Yeah, this was vaudable because we were talking about it and then we heard production in the background like, oh boy, I hope it isn't Hell's Heaven for the 10th time. And it was. Up until the very end of the tournament where we did get some variations, and even then it was like, please, I can only handle enough of Super Soldier Factory for so long.
I mean, at a certain point, you think you'd be all drained out of Hell's Heaven. Like, you should be the anti-curse. The fact that you're here right now should mean we won't see it at all. But here we are. It's already continuing.
Exactly. It just keeps happening and happening again. Hopefully get a bit of a difference, but believe we should be starting up soon, just getting a restart on some games here, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, we're just waiting on some players to reset their games, and yeah, I mean, if it continues any longer, we could probably head to a break, but we shouldn't have to wait that much longer if production is telling us that we should be pretty much good to go in a little bit. I mean, this is just the ultimate stalling test, really, to see how much we can yap.
It really is, because I'm okay. That I'm fine with yapping for as long as however need be. I know some viewers are like, hey, I would like to get into the game, which I feel that. It does tend to happen. But yeah, patience is key here.
Yeah, but I mean, that's okay. It's always good to have the Keg and Asherbach podcast. The Kegervach podcast?
Kegvok? That sound fire.
Kegvok, I like that. Oh, it looks
Right.
like we're ready to go. We are heading into game number 1.
Okay, so already heading into game, finally, after 3 years, no, it's been 80 years.
80 years. I've retired, I've died, I've come back to life, and I've already lived somewhat full of a life already before we got into the next game. So, we are going into game.
Man, you say died. Me personally, I would, I think I'd live till 110. That
Just
seems
immortal.
fair. Well, yes, I'm living out of pure spite. I mean, it would be pretty on character here.
It's like every old person ever. Alright, well, we are still waiting to go into game. We got the call that we should be going into game. It's just a matter of getting into game.
True. Just still waiting here. Believe we should be heading again into game pretty soon-ish. I hope. If my internet
Pandora's
does not
box
fail
got
on
the
me.
guy. He got the director.
Oh no.
He got sucked
Not
away.
again. Oh, pause. Anyways.
Sucked away. Not any other sort of suckage.
Pause. That second foul. Yellow card at this point, Keg.
Yellow card. I'm trying to go for all the black cards. Oh, there we go. We're in. We made it.
Finally, it's been 80 years. No food, no water.
We don't need it. So it looks like we are third and Iron Protocol will be the next matchup. Again, Iron Protocol is a team we have not seen yet. This is their first week in the Engage tournament series. Luckily though for us, Therada, we already have a lot of info on how they like to play from the last series. They are good individually. I won't say that they played the best as a team, Ash.
Right. Honestly, like you did mention previously, time and time again, at least here and there, the cohesion, it was getting there, but not to points that we would have liked to have seen. Kind of felt a little all over the place, at least in key situations. But hey, maybe this time around can kind of change that, especially going against Iron Protocol here.
And that's the difference between a good team and a great team, is that you have a general cohesive idea in mind, and everyone knows their distinct roles. I'm looking at Zhao Yang, and we saw a lot of opportunities where he would start off as a vanguard, and then once things started getting hairy, he would panic swap over to a duelist, and frankly not really find a lot of impact on the duelist role. So him starting off, I guess, on duelist right away, maybe we'll give him some better footing, but I'm having a little bit of doubts in my mind.
Honestly, I'm a little hopeful. I'm kind of on that opposite spectrum to see, you know what? If it works for you, make it work for you instead. But then for Iron Protocol, next protector going to be the Loki. So one of the opt-in for the regeneration domain, maybe even the clone ulti on tail end.
Yeah, I haven't even really looked at the picks and bans just yet. We see the Punisher ban once again against Therada. That has been a common factor from both them and Orion against this team. What I like the most is that Therada is choosing to ban only flyers after the pummeling they got from Orion Wanderers. They don't want to go through that again.
I don't blame them. We have an Iron Man ban. We've gotten rid of Ultron, no more Storm, and no more Human Torch. These are just bans.
That's all
These
the
are
flyers.
That's PTSD bans. PTSD.
I love PTSD.
Oh, goodness.
But correct me if I'm wrong. That's every flyer in the game, right?
Well, let's think about it. Oh my God, wait, no,
thinking
you
as hard
actually
as I
might be
can.
right. No, you're right.
That does not happen often. See,
Oh,
so
wow.
it's not like you can't have a strategy without flyers. It's all melees instead. We go to the opposite
all
end of the spectrum.
flyers?
Don't worry, Ash. There's no shortage of Hell's Heaven.
It's Hell's Heaven again. Wait, now that I think about it, we do have some technical flyers in the form of, I'm trying to think, Namor and Star-Lord?
Sure.
Right, technical.
I guess.
That's
You know,
loose.
we'll say, let's put Iron Fist in there too.
Vomit Witch? Kind of? Not really, though. That's more of
Sure.
a float, if we're being honest here.
That is like the most semantics of semantics you could possibly have.
It's a float.
A floater, yes. We're a
floater.
platform fighter now. I mean, we have Iron Fist. It is a platform fighter. We have Emma Frost.
I don't know. Iron Fist is more, let's think about it. More Street Fighter? No, it's 3D. That's more Tekken. Maybe Virtua Fighter if you squint.
Sure. I'll take Virtual Fighter any day. Just give him a lion outfit and call him king. That being said, though, we are heading into Hell's Heaven. Sure, but all the 3D fighters are the same. Squirrel Girl returns once again, though, from Therda. Swords this time. We originally saw this magic in the pre-select for Hell's Heaven way back in the first series, but it never actually came into combat. I want to see what this can do. I think this could unlock a lot of Therda's potential.
I mean, hopefully so. You would still have some flank points to contend with, or I should say flank players, I mean, in the form of that Iron Fist and the side of Iron Protocol, but already, it's fighting one kill at least onto Jasper. Now for Xiao, yanks into the front line charge. Now an Iron Fist to contend with even more so. Off the magic, at least able to use the stepping discs to teleport away back to safety, at least in the moment.
That's right, Iron Protocol. They haven't found their footing onto the site just yet. They're just looking nice and confident going into this. That being said, though, there is Iron Fist looming about. He's like the boogeyman. Luckily, though, Squirrel Girl's an exorcist.
Of course, POV, back over to our Groot side of Therda right now. Honestly, been playing a little well into the rejection and redirection off the Groot walls in the first place. Now it's Jasper trying to lead in off the Tainted Voltage instead. Let's talk about ulti differentials. Therda would at least have a Loki ultimate up in full force, the unbeatable Scroll Tsunami as well. It's just a matter of that and who you'd even be able to clone coming into it from Bulla.
No Cloak and Dagger for either team. However, there is the double Loki. Excuse me, I apologize. There is only one. No, but there is double Lokis. I apologize yet again. Both of which now have their ults available. The Iron Fist versus the Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl's unable to survive that encounter. She tried to push him forward instead of escape. Fate of Both Worlds is going to be available now for the Luna Snow off of Bola, excuse me. This is good though. So many ults all around, but unfortunately Iron Protocol losing their footing once again. That's going to be the end of one strategist, and FIFO is seemingly all alone now. No protection outside of Jasper, which means they have to tuck tail and run away.
Battlefield ready again.
Might be lagging. This does not sound good.
Oh no. Stay with me, Ash.
Okay.
That's okay though. Are you back?
We're back.
Don't you die on me!
I'm trying not to. That did get a little scary, at least in a few seconds, but hey, that's fine. Back into it, though. Jasmine now on the Punisher, which, remember correctly, did not get banned out here to the side of Iron Protocol, but now leading into sustainability off the Luna Snow. Fate of Both Worlds in the final judgment, as well as the Emma Fall ulti. The mind control just fighting 1, 2, 3, 4 double eliminations, though. Triple if you are Jasper. And that's the entirety of Therda just taken down and out at 99%.
Nuclear bomb dropped by Iron Protocol. Every single ultimate barring Sully's Iron Fist ult at once to stop Therda. I mean, while it's good for them to capture the point, that doesn't speak confidence to me, though, considering they had to bring out their entire arsenal in order to capture the point for the first time. 99%, as you said, Ash, now for Therda. Just a matter of them grinding up their ultimates again. They have the time to use this to get Bulla into their full regeneration, get their full ultimate in board. God of Mischief is certainly available in just a few seconds. The Squirrel Girl, unfortunately, Squirrel Tsunami will not be participating into this first ult dump, possibly. May just to wait yet again. 40 seconds left now into this for Iron Protocol. They are almost at the halfway mark, but again, large mountain to climb for what could very well be a successful first point for Therda. It's just a matter now of seeing how Therda wants to play these ults out. They've relied a lot on ult dumps back against Orion Wanderer, and that did not work out well for them. But 5 out of 6 ults have been gathered up.
Ooh. I mean, absolutely, you would have the good ulti to worry about also, but no, going for double sustainability instead. The Luna Snow, just the Fate of Both Worlds out in full force right now, and if you are Swords, want to play the point, especially coming into it for Dark Child's ultimate pop, and now the Iron Fist. Nothing cheaper about this Town Hall, nor more so about the final judgment coming into it as well in the corner. And now you have a very pissed off Swords to worry about, just trying to counter back against it best as possible. Still gets taken down by the final judgment coming into it from Jasper right now, and Killjoy wanting to catch any stragglers off the mind control in turn.
Great mommy grab coming out of Killjoy, pushing everybody back once more. Iron Protocol has been holding the line. They've returned back into overtime. Iron Protocol, unfortunately, they only have the Iron Fist to rely off of. All the Vanguards have fallen, and so has Iron Fist himself. Luckily, though, a last-second portal has come into fruition. Has been a good way to keep Iron Protocol into the fray, but they are losing bodies quick and fast. A lot of staggering. Yabujin has brought out Fate of both worlds, and unfortunately, that seems to be the only surviving factor out of Iron Protocol in this engagement, as Therda claims game number 1.
Okay, great start already coming into it from Therda. Frighteningly back and forth, might I add, especially on Frozen Airfield. It's ulti for ultis. And then we saw the Punisher shine a little bright coming in from Jaspa. But for Iron Protocol, gonna need a little more than that, especially heading in to Eldritch Monument.
We're seeing the same issues now from Iron Protocol that Therda themselves had. I mean, honestly, it could just be a matter of confidence when you play in officials like this. It's hard to not panic swap, find a way to work cohesively with your team. Vanguards on Iron Protocol have seriously struggled in that first point. We'll have to say, though, that Jaspa and Sully, I think, have been doing a fantastic job with the amount of duels they've been taking and how much they've been able to win them out. Unfortunately, though, it has to be a lot more than just duels to win.
Really does, especially in trying to get the counterplay against Iron Protocol, who have the damage farm, but then the execution and the follow-through is kind of where they're lacking. And now Therda, where we saw, I don't want to say a bit of a lack of cohesion in the previous game, but honestly, starting to stick together a little better than we have seen here, Keg.
I think a lot more comfortability on swords, too. They were dancing around a bunch of different duelists back in their first series, but now on the Magic, consistently what seems to be the most comfortable duelist has worked out well for them, at least so far. It's a very good map overall for duelists too, especially in Magic. Sully has swapped away from the Iron Fist back into a Rocket Raccoon. Plenty of ults to start off point 2 as well. Fate of both worlds off of Bolo once again has worked out well. It's just a matter of seeing whether or not any of these two teams can outlast the strategist ults, and my god are they! Therda is melting down Iron Protocol. Jaspa's clinging on, hoping for anything for a reprieve, and while they do remove at least one strategist, it's swords there for the taking.
That's gotta be an unfortunate way to go down. Iron Protocol tried their best to keep on the point, but then one nastily placed strangling prison was enough to take you down, no matter how much sustain you even got off of it in the first place. Absolute damage farming coming into it from Therda, who right now 16% able to take the points for themselves here.
I will say, though, for Therda is fairly low. We started seeing Iron Protocol get a true challenge against this team at 99%. Iron Protocol is going in double down on the aggression. Only one duelist available, by the way, but Final Judgment does eliminate 2. Make that nearly 3, 4 now for the team. Very critical players off the board. And finally now Iron Protocol get their first cap.
At this point, I never want to hear anybody else say, oh, Rocket Raccoon isn't that effective. We got a Cosmic Yarn Amplifier on top of
People
Final
that say that
Judgment.
don't know what they're talking about.
Exactly. People who say that don't know the full potential of Rocket, even though we don't have the infinite ammunition buff like we used to. It's fine. For Iron Protocol, though, still able to retake it. Now 27% and counting. If you are Therda, maybe want to rely on the Dark Child, at least get a good push here against Iron Protocol on the flank, but still having to watch out, contend with Killjoy's mind control, especially leading into this next team fight.
Like this off angle being held by Therda. They're not going the main lanes anymore out of fear of Jaspa, who does go down to the hands of the backlining Squirrel Girl. Luckily, though, Dark Child is out. Sword gets Mommy Command grabbed by the Emma Frost and temporarily stopped in their limited time ultimate. And with only just a few seconds left, they only find, well, 0 impact off of Sword's magic ult. Luckily, though, Sully's there to save the day. A player is revived off of the hands of the respawn beacon, and all of Iron Protocol taking the lead back over Therda with a meltdown once more, held by the hands of this sword.
Of course, the strangling prison we saw previously, and not going to be enough for Iron Protocol to keep themselves alive any longer. Now it's Therda on the up and up, 33%. Plenty of a ways to go versus Iron Protocol, 70%. Maybe easily retake and cap it out from there. As I say that, though, okay, you want to tell me about the ulti differentials we might be seeing coming into it from both teams here?
I mean, Scroll Tsunami can be canceled out by Bass Lines entangling in prison, but not even just ults aside, though. The basic Groot walls can shut down Squirrel Girl, but luckily, though, an off angle is being held down by the Regeneration Domain from FIFO. It's a good way of shutting down the ult, unfortunately. could otherwise be a great backline destroyer. But that being said, though, a lot of verticality coming up from Therda. The drop down met with Fastline's ult does not find any impact either. Iron Protocol, they had themselves a great stronghold onto the site, but they're not able to keep it up. And it's just a big, scrappy fight any which way you look at. And Therda, they're able to gain their control once again.
How we saw the turret a little earlier up above from Jaspa did not work out in their favor as best as they wanted to. And now from Therda, 85% and plenty left in the tank to really just counter back against our next team fight. But for Iron Protocol, maybe you wanted to rely on the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier to get some extra juice. I say that though. If there's Xiao Yangs right now, would have the mind control readily available for this next push, but the final judgment in contention off the CYA. And now planning to worry about getting rid of regeneration domain at the same point. Jaspa just getting 2 pick eliminations, same for Killjoy, but not before user stops them in their tracks off the slingshot.
And Jaspa overheated a tiny bit, but they get rid of critical players to allow Iron Protocol to cap the point yet again. What is the choice going to be now from Therda? They have one full team fight left before they're in trouble, and we might go to point 3.
It's getting scary. It's getting a little too tense for me to even call this, but call it I will. Now, if you are Iron Protocol, you're at 89%. And for Therda, this next team fight, the last one, it might be into overtime, is going to be a desperation push. You'd have the unbeatable Scroll Tsunami to maybe get some last chunk damage, if you will, but with the walls in front of you. And now Jasper on the turret was a little scary, but now Tsunami in conjunction off the fate of both worlds for the extra sustainability. And if you are Therda, time is now. Get the command grab. Ultimate gets silenced by the mind control of the Iron Protocol.
And that fast line gone off the hands of a Squirrel Tsunami. Jaspa as well, the main damage dealer. Iron Protocol, they don't have a lot to work with. They're losing bodies one by one. Fast line's gonna go for the panic. Doctor Strange bring out that portal and have a chance in overtime to claim it back. But there it is, Swords once again chopping up the raccoon. We're having it for dinner. It's the portal though. We were anticipating this. We were expecting it. Jaspa with the final judgment needs to hop through, but we're got to save it for point 3.
I just realized that to also stop the portal, Therda threw in a Groot wall to make sure nobody else could even remotely climb in. And that's some nasty work, almost a sweep here into our first game.
We're gonna have to wait and see how it plays out in game number 2. I will say, Therda, they look pretty dang good. A lot of cleanup from game number 1. But unfortunately, that final judgment, I said mistakenly that we'd be going to point number 3, but I was incorrect. Jaspa, 19-10, 12 eliminations, was the spearhead of Iron Protocol for their first week. Unfortunately, it just was not enough firepower for what, honestly, Swords really stepping up was able to bring out.
And genuinely so, I was a little doubtful in the Magic gameplay, especially, the first point, but then going into Eldritch Monument, honestly shining out bright. 17 final hits to put you through your paces.
See, I find that weird that you found like the underwhelmingness of Magic's gameplay. I thought she was great consistently all throughout Hell's Heaven.
Honestly, I was a little concerned, especially, leading to a few eliminations here and there off the stepping discs. Then I look and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. This is kind of working out a little too well for Swords here. I apologize, I was unfamiliar with your game like that.
I mean, I remember just seeing back in the first series, the Lord Magic, and I'm like, oh yeah, their name is Sword, this character has a sword, they have to know what they're doing, right? And we just never got to see it at all. And so finally seeing Magic in the second series, it's like, why didn't we see this at all? Like, I get that Orion Wanderers had flyers, but it's not like Magic can't focus them at all. It's possible. Not easy, but it's possible.
Exactly. It's not easy, some situations, but like you said, it's possible. The potential is there. And to finally see that shining through and shining bright, and especially against Iron Protocol in this set, thank God.
Yeah.
Definitely going to need the win here.
I'm really curious to see how it all plays out on Convoy. It didn't look great for Therda in the first series for domination. I think they had a somewhat better time on Convoy, though it's kind of a low bar to hit. But Iron Protocol, They're suffering for the same exact things. They need to figure out a way to shape up and play as a team, which I think they did pretty well on Hell's Heaven. It's just getting that extra firepower and play more confidently.
Man, it really is, especially playing into the confidence. Like, coming into it from Therda, didn't see much of it in their first game. Like, say time and time again, but leading into this one, shine bright, shine through, especially. And I will say, leading into Eldritch Monument was very back and forth. Saw plenty of that.
Yeah.
And then it was like, hey, we're expecting Portal. Groot Wall to stop you in your tracks was kind of the funniest thing to see last second. But then another thing I would like to point out that both sides really playing heavily into the sustainability that a lot of strategists have to offer, specifically coming into it with the Loki and the Luna Snow.
Yeah, I think it was a great swap from point 1 to point 2 to have Iron Protocol go from an Iron Fist into a rocket. It didn't end up winning the point, but again, the sustainability is incredibly important. And it showed that Iron Protocol had a much more fight in them when they played more meta compositions than probably like individually what they were used to maybe playing and winning on ranked with.
Yeah, absolutely. Hell, speaking of the, some comps here and there, I will say Iron Protocol coming into it with the Cosmic Yawn amplifier off of our Rocket Raccoon, as well as the Punisher with a final judgment, made up for some pretty sick plays. I will admit the damage was there, but then the follow through, especially in trying to counter back against Therda, didn't fall apart a little bit here.
Yeah, it was tough for both sides, but luckily though, we are starting in game number 2. We are heading over to bans and picks. I really can't wait to see what the counter bans look like.
It's going to be interesting. Remember the last game we saw plenty of target bans, and
That's what happened.
We saw how well that worked out. It was so great.
All right, looks like we should be heading over to picks and bans.
Okay. Hopefully so. Starting at least a brief minute here. Hey, if we can yap, we can yap.
I can yap all day. But I would like to see
Okay,
what the
Captain
picks and bans
America.
look like.
I can do this all day. Yeah, okay, let's calm it down now.
Yeah, I'm the Captain America of commentating, of course. They inject serum into me. Not by the government, but by other shady people.
Who's the other shady people?
Oh, you
I'm
don't wanna know.
concerned. I kind of want to now.
He's the guy in the back of the apartment building. Oh, there we are. We are going in.
Okay. I'm still nosy about the back of the apartment building, though. That's interesting. But that's a story for another day, huh?
All right. Yeah, I suppose so. Well, we'll gloss over the back alley guy. He's my favorite. But remember, their strategy was, okay, if they fly, they cannot live. So it was all bans.
That's right. It was just every single flyer, except for our technical flyers got banned. And that was the most, I don't want to say insane, but it was funny to have watch happen.
It was like watching a train crash, except it didn't crash.
It flew off.
Yes, off the rails, or no flyers
Correct.
again. I don't think they're just going to switch it up. They reserve the magic this time because they saw how great Swords was.
True, but we're doing this again. It is a back-to-back Human Torch bans, especially in the side of Iron Protocol.
I don't really know what the game plan is for Iron Protocol's picks and bans. They reserved the Magneto. That's good. Like, the Squirrel Girl was strong, but it wasn't really enough to, like, change your whole game plan around. The Ultron is
It's another
banned.
flyer ban. It's
These
Storm
are all
and
bans?
Ultron.
These are all
Oh,
bans
wow.
of characters we just have not seen there to play, even when they're not
So, both of these teams are saying, hey, gentlemen's agreement, we are going to fight on the ground and you are going to like it.
banned. Well, I wouldn't say it's a gentleman's agreement. They're not allowed to do it.
I know. It's just...
There are
just-
no gentlemen in Marvel Rivals.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Only
But instead...
mutants.
Oh, you said that like a slur, too. Oh, goodness.
Sorry, I'm Magneto.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
So let's see. So Basslighten's going to swap over to the Magneto instead of a Groot. Okay. I think that's a good choice here for attacking on Spider Islands. Swords is going to remain on the Magic, and this is a fantastic map for both Magic and Squirrel Girl.
It really is. Spider Island's Convoy, no less. Another thing I would like to point out, possibly hovering over the Venom pick coming in from Zhao Yang, so maybe wanting to opt in for the dive instead.
Okay. They're going to go for the dive, maybe give a little bit extra space for the Squirrel Girl to find supplemental damage off of Zhao Yang and swords. I like this choice. This was the same choice we were going to see again in the previous series, except instead of swords, it was supposed to be... well, actually, no, I apologize. It was supposed to be, I believe, Zhao Yang on the Hulk and swords on magic. But it looks like, again, we are backing out of that. No anti-dive. Instead, it's the Emma. I don't think it's a bad choice. Do want to keep my eye on Sully, the Iron Fist, who played at the first point of Hell's Heaven, swapped over to the Rocket, and did allow more sustain. More firepower is needed. I think this is probably the best case scenario for Iron Protocol into the first point.
One can only hope so. Should be better than the last game. Swords is already sitting here just stalking everyone from a distance, and I'm kind of concerned about it, but it's going to be the funniest thing possible. Your Swords at least, but for Killjoy already, Diamond Barrier up in full force. They're leading into it off the beam. Having to pull back, though, especially playing into heals.
There we go, first frag of the game. That's going to be Bassline, the Magneto falling, Jasper soon to follow. What is happening? Where are the heals from Iron Protocol? All of your front line has just been decimated within seconds of the round starting, and the strategist can't leave spawn.
I can probably explain as to why this is happening. I mean, let's think about it. Iron Protocol off the heals.
Girl.
Right, they have them, but then you also have to remember that they're coming into it off the root really makes it a nightmare to even get your heals where they need to be, cutting you off directly from your Vanguard's keg.
Yeah, but you had a Punisher. He could just melt down the group walls and he wasn't able to. Jasper swaps over to Winter Soldier just to get more final hits in. The chip damage has been good, but actually just getting kills against Therda has been an impossibility.
I mean, hell, with the Winter Soldier coming into it full force, maybe want to go for the Tainted Voltage options and then even the Kraken Impact in the leads. But I say that, and now for Iron Protocol, I mean, trying their damnedest to still keep up. Group walls abound, and now the Kraken Impact to hit alongside, in conjunction, I should say, with the Unbeatable Scroll Tsunami taken out just as quickly as it gets put down.
Iron Protocol did make some critical swaps, and they've gotten past the initial choke. Just a matter of capturing point number 1. 2 minutes on the clock to do it. Swords again, still in the magic. Has to duel out against the melee of Iron Fist.
Uh-oh. Melee that one. At least trying to burst out. The Luna Snow, not going to be enough for you. Those in the seconds. Got caught down, but now with the Meteor M to have to worry about not finding its intended target. Fastline, honestly, feeling a little bad about that one.
Fights continue on forwards now. Groot on Therda's side, a name I cannot pronounce, was doing some great stall walls, but look at Iron Protocol. They're taking point 1 and they're claiming so much extra space back against Therda. They're not allowing them to play on this lane whatsoever. They're taking full Pagoda control.
I mean, hell, full denial, and now the Groot able to find one off the Thorns instead. It's our resident Iron Fist. If you are Iron Protocol, losing 1 DPS at least in a second shouldn't hurt that much, but might be a little more, especially getting pushed back like this. I said too soon. You lose 1, and now you've lost 3, down to 3 on the side of Iron Protocol, and Therda have just been allowed to damage farm 1, 2, 3, 4 ultis up and available if need be.
There is plenty of time, though, for Iron Protocol. They pushed up so extensively just to rack up their ults, and now for the ult dump, they are set up and ready for World War III. 4 ults available are there for Therda. They have to play their cards right. Only one strategist out of 2 ultimates are around, and they do not have a Loki. Luckily, though, FIFO can copy an ultimate, luckily on Yabu Jin, to get that Fate of Both Worlds out, and they're breaking the walls in the process. Bulla brings out Barricade, and that's going to be a good way to stop some of this extra spacing, but it may have come out a little too early. Aimbot is not set up and ready for Fate of Both Worlds.
Well, for Iron Protocol, you had 3 ultis up and right there. As damaging as can be, but not even that much of an impact to even dent Therda right now. The Strangling Prison to go down, and of course, using teleportation to try and find one, but instead, Aim Bob cleaning up off the assist with the Icicles. Clap at that one. Now Zhao Yang's going to pull back here as Iron Protocol finding himself staggered.
Bassline does have the group hug to work with now. It's just a matter of getting back onto the point. These group walls from Therda have been so strong. And again, there's really not much to destroy except for Killjoy swapping away from Emma now into Thing.
Of course, maybe trying to find some good knock-off damage coming into it from Iron Protocol off of Killjoy, which I will say, if you want to go full brawl against Thera, which has been at least fairly that side of it, shouldn't be too bad. Now Xiao Yang's off the beam able to get rid of the barrier. Now Killjoy, the anti-street charge at least in a second, but hey, goes for the knock-up instead off the Stone Haymaker, and now the mind control in the back line to contend with.
Production beam seducing a tree. Great choice in men, Xiao Yang. Love it too. User though, just get rid of fast line. And the Iron Protocol forced to a standstill once again. They cannot get past this choke.
Man, it's just been stagger point after stagger point, and Iron Protocol being forced to make so many counterplay swaps to at least try to fight back against Thera. And honestly, might not even be enough as Thera now playing into the sustainability game off of Aimbot, but the Elemental Barrage right now from Star-Lord not even going to be enough to deal that. I'm going to pretend I didn't see that. Off the kick, command grab from Xiao Yang, still able to find two more and dang near a third against Iron Protocol.
I can't imagine this is good for Iron Protocol's confidence. They've already lost map number 1. They came close on the second point, but still lost it out. They had ult dump after ult dump and so much time and group resets here for the second point of Spider Islands, and they just can't get close. They're trying to out-ultimate Thera, and they consistently get beaten at their own game. Swords and Groot now have their ult dash. This should be the moment to bring it back. Yes.
I mean, one can only hope. So side Iron Protocol, you really would have had the Luna Stones to play off of, but you just sent back to spawn at least in the seconds. And Iron Protocol at least able to find one. That's Jasper getting it off the melee, but not even be enough. I mean, it'll just pull back off a diamond barrier after getting command grab, but still the Groot still catches you out. And now for Thera again, staggering the front lines of Iron Protocol.
But there's good news! Iron Protocol, they have Sully's Intergalactic Legend. It's the Star-Lord Ultimate, and there's no healing ult set up and ready against them. There it is! Both strategists are gone. They're at the front lines. The back lines are gone.
No, I just realized!
Off of Sully. And that should mean now reclaiming the throne once more. The payload can move forwards, but we're in overtime. That's nearly 4 minutes gone. And Thera, all they have to do is regroup with one strategist, nearly 2 ultimates set up and ready to go.
That's nasty, that is devious, that is disgusting work to not only leading with the Elemental Barrage, but the Galactic Legend to follow up with it for Iron Protocol to finally break out of that stagger point, and now into overtime. We have the mind control, but Thera seem to be having the upper hand on this one, fighting back against Iron Protocol, who only had the sustainability for so long, and now back up against the wall, quite literally. Xiao Yangs as well as Swords and the Groot finding 2 more backline taken out of melee, and Swords with one more fearless strike, getting another kill on the board, and only setting Iron Protocol 0-1.
Swords is creating a fillet out of Iron Protocol. I would love to see the stats off of each team going into this, because good lord, there has been no counter at all to this melee, except now Killjoy, swapping away from a Vanguard, wants to take on this sword fight directly head on in a good old fencing duel.
Okay, we have to sit here. We have to think about this, right? Because, Keg, I gotta ask. Iron Protocol, they were still able to break out of that little, choke point and stagger, but then leading into that next team fight, what do you feel they could have done differently to maybe survive better against Thera?
I mean, Iron Protocol winning that choke point was just a matter of opportunity. Thera, they've been doing such a great job cycling their ultimates, but it just so happened Sully was on Star-Lord, and it just so happened he had his ultimate ready when Bola and Aimbot, the strategist of Thera, did not. If it was any different of a scenario, they would not have won that choke.
Got you. Heard and understandable. But now leading into this next team fight, I should say the next push, I should say outside of door. That's a turret setup along with shields, plenty of healing if you need it, especially off the Loki clones.
You might even say that's too much healing. That might be a lot less for the front lines now for Iron Protocol, but everyone's taking such a back seat. They're willing to give up the majority of this opening choke just to fight for the back bend for this payload. Usually teams like to dive up in the beginning to stall for time. That will not be the case. Iron Protocol realized that they cannot afford to overly dive. They have to play together as a team.
Hell, absolutely. It's that cohesion that you need. I mean, hey, in any team game, but more so Marvel Rivals, you want to fall apart a little too soon here, but Double Diamond Big Are here into the Spore Bomb at that one with a burst damage, especially into Psionic Action, coming into it off the side. Iron Protocol, but now for Thera right now on the attack, really pushing further and further into it. Get rid of the Psionic Burst instead. And now Groot the Tango within your front lines going full brawl, but now an unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami to have to contend with double elimination and almost make that another here for Xiao Yang's as well as User against the side of Iron Protocol.
For all the heals in the world, the Regeneration Domain was not in a place to help anyone in the back line beat out the Squirrel Tsunami, and that's the entire back line of Iron Protocol falling like the Black Plague to a bunch of rodents.
Of course, Swords stick out the sidelines. User still able to get another off the slingshot. And now the Diamond Barrier into Beam from Jiao Yang's not a fight you want to pick alone. And now in fast fashion. 5 minutes left on the board for Thera to play from. Playing more of that against Iron Protocol with Swords and Groot. Getting 2 more kills. Swords finding a 3rd against a Rogue Rocket. Just trying to straggle away.
5 minutes on the clock now from Thera. It's signaling to me doomsday for Iron Protocol. I don't see a way for them to get out of this. They have to play a perfect Marvel Rivals defense in order to drain 5 minutes on the clock. Certainly doable. We saw Sentinels do the same thing against Envy yesterday. But again, team cohesion will have to be on top. User, the Squirrel Girl, already removing Jaspa, the lead damage dealer for Iron Protocol, is not a good start for this defense. It's a matter of using all 6 ultimates now in perfect succession in order to make this work and stagger it out there to side. It's going to be the beginning of the end. FIFO's going to remove Swords. This is a great turnaround for Iron Protocol, but still, the point continues to move.
Oh no. Oh, the Meteor M though, and the barrier does not pop up in time. And fast line to Bulla, but now for Iron Protocol, I mean, utilizing the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier earlier to really make good of that team fight was some brutal work. But now against Thera, trying to turn this around, especially off the mind control, full clone in effect. And if you are Jaspa, this Final Judgment plan to play into it from the side. FIFA finding a clone, but honestly, looks confused on where that one went. I say that though. Now if you are Iron Protocol, at least still alive, just kind of finding yourself staggered again, but still able to push Thera back off the convoy.
This is good from Iron Protocol though. They have payload control. They've captured the most important parts of point 2. Thera now has the onus on them. They need to be sure they can play this correctly. It's just a matter of that Squirrel Tsunami to find more impact, but point 2, attacking side Squirrel Girl can find a lot of struggles here. It's such an open space and it's easy to avoid her nuts. Squirrel Tsunami does come out though. Xiao Yang looking to chip up that damage to get Psionic Seduction back into the fray. Sword has their ult now for the back line. That's going to be a strategist isolated with no place to go. Both strategists are found from Iron Protocol.
Oh no.
All 3 fall in unison. And that could very well be the end. 2 meters left, leads at the 0. And that's Thera moving on in week 3.
2, 1.
And disgustingly brutal cleanup work coming into it from Swords off the magic. And of course, good team fight leading into 2-1 here on Spider Islands in the convoy.
I gotta say, really great cleanup jobs from Thera. I think the big difference maker between the first series into the second was their confidence.
And absolutely, and Bulla was taking the MVP, 24 eliminations and plenty of assists at that. But there, a clean sweep. Honestly, far more cohesion than we saw in their last game. A great step up, I will say.
26-3 from Swords overall, a fantastic effort overall. 29-2 from Xiao Yang. The fact that he was able to stick and maintain the Vanguard the entire time felt like every player in Thera was playing much more comfortable roles.
Hell, genuinely so. Honestly, I'm proud to see them really build themselves up like this, but I have to give it up to Iron Protocol, right? Especially the last play into Spider Islands, you know, before that going into on attack and able to break out of that choke point that I was very worried about. Just kind of fell short though, but hey, that's going to be a highlight of the day here, at least for me.
Exactly, and we will be saying goodbye to Iron Protocol for now. It was their first showcase into this tournament series. Luckily, though, it won't be the end for them. They will be facing up against Eclipse not too much longer from now. And it looks like pretty soon we should be having Thera go up against Dawn Core. So I'm very curious to see how a team that's had some struggles today, made a comeback, will have to face up against the continuously flawless team of this entire tournament series.
And hell, if I remember correctly, they are still, frighteningly enough, undefeated leading into this. So I'm like, okay, how are we going to measure up against this? Please, please, please tell me that somebody has been doing VOD reviews to maybe go for our target bans and picks leading into the next game. And of course, counters at that. But gonna have to wait and see how that sets up, at least, Keg.
Absolutely. Of course, we had to close the box once again. It opened up to give more internet for both of us. So don't go anywhere. We have to close it yet again. And we're going to lose more bodies in the process, so it might take a bit. But we'll see you in a few minutes. Hopefully.
Exactly. Hopefully. I'll bring a padlock. Don't worry.
I think that's a good idea.
Good idea. That's a great idea.
Oh,
Okay.
We just call for a break, but we're going to call for it again. And we'll be going to a small break. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome back to Marvel Rivals Grassroots Weekly with Engage. Here once again, it is your number one Castrovok, Astrovok, here with my co-commentator Keg. Now, how are we feeling, especially after that last game?
I was born feeling good, Ash. I'm going to die feeling good. I think what we saw in that last game was a great step up from Therata. They looked fantastic with their confidence. But I gotta say, Iron Protocol, I think they suffered from the same confidence issues. It's the first week for them being in the Engage series. I don't blame them for feeling that way. I don't think that's going to change going to this next series, considering who they have to go up against.
We saw who they had to go up against, and I am so concerned. It's the undefeated Dawn Corps. That's going to be a wild time. But hey, we've seen this before where maybe a team previously hasn't exactly done their best, not looking too hot, and then all of a sudden wake it up in the next game over. I mean, hell, a good example we could use was there to going against Iron Protocol in this last one, but then it's Iron Protocol now having to find themselves in the hot seat here, Keg.
Yeah, it's definitely the hottest of seats, but then again, you're going up against the team that has been unstoppable this entire series. Maybe there isn't as much pressure. You're mostly going into this series as practice to figure out how you can play more concise as a team. We are just getting word now that one player on Iron did lose their internet, so they will be coming in with a sub. We may have to stall for a little bit to wait that out, but we'll have to wait and see. If they can't get their sub in time, it looks like we might have to switch our matchup. So we will be going up ahead, assuming that it's still going to be Iron Protocol and Dawn Corps, but things could just change on the fly.
I mean, hell, it happens. We love, spontaneous work.
That's a certified esports moment.
Exactly. We're casters. We are very much used to this. I mean, hell, I've been used to this for like 7 years at this point.
Yeah, you're old.
I am old. I am 24 years old right now, and I am pretty much one of the eldest out of 13 other siblings, one of which is only 4 years old.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them. Good for your parents, I guess. I mean, overall, there's me, spry, young, let's say 17-year-old.
Well, one step closer to your 30s is what I'm hearing. Yeah, be very real. Be very real, Keg. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. How old are we really?
We're waiting for the sub, so it looks like we have plenty of time. You're right. I did lie about my age. Yeah, I'm a whopping 20 years old. Can't drink alcohol yet. Never had this stuff.
SMH, bro, it has to be like 27.
27? We're just doing every age, huh? Well, we just got word that we are not doing a Dawn versus Iron Protocol. We are swapping Therata in at the last second to face up against Dawn instead. I don't want to be an Iron Protocol hater, but I do think this is a better matchup, considering we have a winner versus a winner.
Right. And Iron Protocol, I was sitting here concerned. I'm like, okay, we saw our last match. Do we really want to throw them in this? I don't want to say early, but it's going to be brutal.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to say the very least. But at least now I do feel like things will be a little bit more concise. I think having that second series under your belt for Therata was a really, really good confidence booster yet again. And even if things don't go well, again, for you against Dawn Corps, then at least you can use this as practice and footage to watch to see where to improve for next week.
Exactly. And next week is definitely going to be where it all counts. If I remember correctly, this is our last week before we finally lead into our playoffs. And that in itself is going to be barn burner after barn burner. Hopefully, at least for some teams, then frighteningly back and forth. You're going to need everything and anything you can get here in week 3.
Plenty of barns to burn around here. We're in the farmland of Marvel Rivals. It's Grassroots after all, so we got plenty of interesting things to see outside the big old city. It's just a matter of getting all the players ready in the lobby before we get into our picks and bans for our characters once more. I mean, if I'm Therata, am I banning all the flyers again? Are we having an anti-flying lobby?
I mean, hell, for them, it did save them a lot of time and trouble that they would have otherwise lost. So you know what? I'd say, hell, go for it. If it worked the last time, why not have it work the second time?
Fair enough. Well, I hope we do get to see it again. That would be huge.
Would be great. It would be awesome.
I haven't watched Dawn Corps at all. I don't know what to expect.
That's the scary part about this. It's we're kind of going into this a little blind, more than I'd really like. But for Doncor, knowing that they are undefeated despite some picks and bans from what I have heard, hell, they might find counters to the counter picks that go in against Therda. Let's be very real here. It happens. It does happen.
I mean, Doncor could certainly have been watching the stream, and they will have been able to watch the footage head on to see the bans. And, depending on how much they want to take this seriously, that's a great opportunity for them to ensure that they have an advantage over Therata going into this.
Hell, absolutely. Either way, I am still looking forward to it, especially Therata. This is the third time that we have seen them today, if I remember correctly. And honestly, just further and further along have been getting, better and better into their matches. So it's potential. Oh, wait, no. We got debated. They got a sub.
Oh, all right. I've never seen a flip-flop like this before, but you know what? There's a first time for everything.
Exactly.
We are starting the game now, so we should be going in just a few minutes.
All right. So something we actually have to look forward to. So that means we are going to have to lock it in for this one, especially against an undefeated team like Doncor. Good luck.
So Doncor staying no matter what. I believe now it's Iron Protocol up against Therata. Sure. I'm down. Should be interesting.
Exactly. Also, I can hear my dog outside barking at a squirrel. That is not a good sign.
Oh, maybe they should do a squirrel tsunami.
You're so right. It might be Squirrel Girl trying to break into my home, which I don't appreciate. And I don't want to sit here and say it would be funny. I don't like that, actually.
Oh, I would. I'd very much like that.
Why? For what reason? I don't like that look. What? Stop looking at me like that. I don't like that.
Oh, man. That's okay. You'll have to stop looking at my pretty face in a little bit. We're still just waiting and, frankly, stalling before we get into game. And there it is. We are officially going into game again. We got the confirmation.
Okay.
So we should be heading into picks and bans.
Okay. Finally. After all this, no, I'm not going to hit it. After 80 years, no, we waited a modest amount of time. We should be fine heading into our next game.
Or not.
Maybe. I mean, hell, they'll give us a green light in a minute.
God,
Okay.
hello? Are we going in the game?
Oh, no.
He's not out
We're right.
there.
To confirm
He's
again,
dead,
we
and Marvel
did
Rivals
end up
killed
getting
him.
a sub. Oh.
That's true. But we were told that we were going in the game. Hello?
Guys, I think Keg is actually tweaking. I'm slightly concerned.
That's my secret, Ash. I'm always tweaking.
Okay, Hulk. I'm always angry.
Hey, he's a tweaker, too.
True. Technical.
I guess we're not going in the game.
Okay. We might be getting an update in like 2.2 seconds here.
Oh? Oh, we're starting in 2 seconds. There it is.
We're in. We're in. Let's go!
Woohoo! We did it! We survived!
Hooray!
Oh! It's Hell's Heaven again!
Who would have expected this? Who would have thought, oh my god, it literally
is. This the only domination mode?
No! There's more domination maps! Let's be real here!
I don't play Marvel Rivals. I only watch Engage. This is all I see.
No. Please tell me you're not one of those commentators that watches the game but does not actively play. I beg. Don't do this to me.
I hurt my arm, so I wasn't able to play for a while, but I can play now.
Oh. But yeah, there's multiple domination maps. I'm trying to think. We have Ixgard. There's Baron and T'Challa. There's Hell's Heaven, and then there's Krakoa.
All I'm hearing is Hell's Heaven.
I hate you.
I hate me too. That's what we have in common.
But either that, I mean, love it or hate it, we do have our picks and bans here. And already on the side of Doncor, going into the Magneto and the Emma plus bans, and then the Magneto Protect. But on the side of Iron Protocol, that is a Punisher Protect out in full force here.
Also, the fact for Iron Protocol, we have a no ban for the first ban, which is interesting. I have a feeling that might not be necessarily the case. Not sure what they would have chosen. They reserved the Punisher this time, so Jaspa has been able to make such great work off of that before. Oh, we're getting word now that all teams love Hell's Heaven and choose it. We have nothing but masochists in this tournament. Masochists. That's like
Man.
saying, yes, I love sour candy. I love eating
mean,
cactus.
Wait, I like eating cactus fruit. I like sour candy. You got a problem with that?
I didn't say cactus fruit. I said cactus with the prickles and all.
Oh, with the prickle? No, that's actual masochism. Whoever does that, I am
That's
deeply
the hell's
concerned for
heaven
you.
of vegetables.
But now, on to more bans. We do have the Loki, Groot, and Rocket just completely out of here. If you're on the side of Iron Protocol, another Punisher Protect, however, from Doncor.
I really mess with these bans coming out from Iron Protocol. I think getting rid of the Loki, getting rid of that Rocket, really pigeonholes a lot of the strategist capabilities that Doncor could have at their disposal. It's not impossible for them to find efforts, but you know, you're only bringing out exclusively Invisible Woman, Luna Snow. You only have the Cloak and Dagger to work off of, and Jeff, I suppose, for Maddie. There's really only so much you can bring to the table, and I think bringing out whatever flyers you can should be able to make these strategists have a little bit more of an opening against them.
That's the one thing that I have noticed I might be a little late on, is that almost every single flyer is going to be on the table and available leading into Hell's Heaven, which I imagine for some teams wanted to avoid. I mean, hell, we saw in the last one that it was every single flyer banned, and now this time around, difference in variants, and now Doncor opting in possibly, I don't want to say it too soon, maybe just to hover over, at least for now, Tree Man from the Captain America.
I love this dive stack from Doncor. The Black Panther, Captain America, Psylocke combo means now that this Emma Frost only needs to protect this will take me a second, Elvium and Maddie at their disposal. That means defined roles and great assassination techniques. That means Sully has to be on top of his game alongside Jasper to make sure they don't get backlined and snuffed out by that Psylocke.
I mean, one can only hope, not only backline by the Psylocke, but then you have Frostin on the Black Panther that's going to be prowling about. And if you are Iron Protocol strategist, that's going to be a nightmare to have to deal with, knowing that, hey, why am I all of a sudden hearing breathing at my neck and feeling the hairs stick up on the back of my back? That's why. That's T'Challa right at you in full force.
Hey, I'm not
already Exactly. Hey, wait a minute. Let's calm it down now. But imagine if you're Jasper, I'm going to calm it down even more so. Panic still able to find another on the side of Iron Protocol, and Taylor Swifty taken down as well.
Well, hey, things are getting hot and heavy and heated in Hell's Heaven here. Things are boiling directly onto the point, and right away, Doncor effortlessly take the first point. Double flyers in a position where you really can't elevate too much. I'm having some question marks about Jasper's pick on Iron Man.
I mean, honestly, questioning it for now, hoping it can work out a little better, at least in the brief few moments. But for Doncor right now, still at 18% and counting. Iron Protocol making in some swaps, Fastline even more. So now on the thing, hoping to go for the brawl pressure that Doncor have been providing, especially more so dive. But now we have the Chef just trying to find one. Maddie, though, gets taken down by Jasper off the missiles.
There we go, though, 33% Doncor. We do get to see shields up into the air to try to evade a tiny bit of pressure off of Froster, who swapped away from the Black Panther now into the Iron Man of his own, just to counter Jasper's Iron Man. Now remember, Iron Protocol, they did preserve the Punisher. I'm expecting Jasper to swap over to it at some point now that Iron Man's available on the opposite side.
Now more so is getting chased down here, slowly taken down by Frostin off the beam, and now trying to pull in with the Yancey Street Charger in the Stone Haymakers in turn. Fastline just trying to go for the brawl options as best as possible, farm from not only more damage, but then the ultis in turn. Doesn't find anything on the knockup though.
Great clobbering time coming out, does not find a whole lot of impact, however, for ult available though. Doncor, what can you do? That's the psionic seduction to get at least one. That's surrounded by the enemy. The two Vanguards all alone with no strategist to heal them whatsoever. A meltdown once again for Iron Protocol into Liquid.
Man, total meltdown. I mean, hey, you're surrounded by molten lava. I will admit, though, a great save coming into it. I mean, last second from Kizaru, from Doncor to use the mind control, psionic seduction, if you will, to battle against Taylor Swifty's Eye of Agamotto. So not as much of an impact AoE as you would expect with your Iron Protocol. Not going to be enough to push further inward here. Super Soldier Factory as Hell's Heaven, at least first point, going over to Doncor.
Now, hold on, Ash.
Yes.
Remind me again, wasn't there a reserve on Punisher for Iron Protocol?
There was. actually reserve for Punisher on either side here.
And so Jaspa dropped a lot of kills in the last series on Punisher. So the big
But
question
no
is,
Punisher this time.
why?
30 seconds before you attack.
They have an Iron Man and an Ultron against them. Sorry, just an Iron Man.
Oh
And an
man.
Ultron now against them.
I'm trying to really think about this, right? Because if you are Jasper on the side of Iron Man, maybe wanting to counter back against the fact that, hey, we have a few key players on flank here that we want to deal with at least from the skies to maybe get a bit of a vantage point. I mean, that being Sapatic, who's been allowed to get away with a little too much. Even then, that Iron Man, I'm going to be a little real with you, it's not making as much of a splash against Don Court as I would have hoped here.
Iron Man is just not great against triple heals, and we're seeing triple heals for both teams. The key difference is that Frostern is expecting team members on Iron Protocol to overheat, and he can snipe, them out. There we go, Ion Burst through the portal. A great start to get immediately onto the point. Dance of the Butterflies, an invisible barricade to shut this butterfly into a net. And it works out well. This could be Iron Protocol almost getting point number 1. Portal is out now. Doncor's nowhere to be seen. An early advantage desperately needed from Iron Protocol here to survive into point 3.
Oh, thank goodness for Iron Protocol right now, 5% and counting me. You lose 1. But Jasper, I need to remind you again, we have a Punisher in reserve. If this Iron Man isn't working, that's the swap you'd really expect, but maybe not too soon. You would have an ultimate on the line still in the maximum pulse bomb. And against Doncor, maybe the one thing you need here, Tree Man still able to use the charge to at least get away as best as possible from the grasp of Taylor Swift, but not going to be enough for Jasper. Again, gets taken out by Frosted, and Kizaru finds another against Bassline with another beam pulse, laying from Yabajin to find Alvidia.
Taylor Swift in her true form, a gigantic Eldritch Tree, is able to get the frontline control up against Doncor. An early lead, very out of the ordinary for Doncor. It's not something that happens to them terribly often. Bit of a glitched out model there for Ultron as they fell.
Oh!
Ion Cannon in return from Jaspa might mean now into an early death. If they choose to overheat, they could swap back to the Punisher without much negativity.
Now for Doncor would have 2 ultis readily available. Make it 3 just in a brief second, going for the command grab, and that's going to be the seduction would be available for Kizaru to really use against Iron Protocol. Just have to wait for the right moment and the right stagger at that one. But then aside of Taylor Swifty, having opted out of the Doctor Strange, more so into the Groot. Spore maybe leading into the Strangling Prison. The key play to find that point that you desperately need, and Jaspa again cornered, nowhere to go, and caught up by Sapatic.
Has been a much more of a struggle for Tree Man. Very close quarters, tough to find distance in. A tree in his way, psionic seduction in return. Kizaru is looking to separate out this front line, but Agamotto return allows Froster to find infinite impact. And Jasper in return, it's an Iron Man battle. Both are dueling back and forth. The tactic is good for both. That's gonna be all of Iron Protocol gone, barring the strategists.
That's foul. That's nasty. And Iron Protocol, honestly, more so beaten into bronze, at least in that last fight. Hopefully, you can find the luster that they really need leading into it against Doncor right now. 63% and looking clean with the Jaspa, playing into it off the drone, as well as the shielding coming into it from Ultron. Much needed at that one. So at least pull back. And if you have Tree Man in your front line, I'd make it a harder time. If I had to guess, Zapata coming into it off of a Dance of the Butterfly flank would be brutality against Iron Protocol K.
I mean, again, look at this, though. Yabujin not close to their ultimate. Cycle is just used there to a rage of Ultron. Focus on the front lines. No one's helping out these strategists in the back. Dance of the Butterflies from the flank will remove everybody. And Zapta's already good for 1 before the dance even begins. That's another gone. The entire backline falling and crumbling against the front. And Taylor Swift is unfortunate to fall into Hell's Heaven. And now a staggering respawn leads Doncor with having little to no opposition. A clean game 1 for the flawless team.
Man, for Iron Protocol going into game 2, even with, full Taylor Swift pun intended, as much as I'd hope for them to shake it off after Frozen Airfield, that might prove to be a bit of a challenge against the undefeated Doncor.
I mean, beating Taylor Swift like that, you have to say, look what you made me do. This was a brutality once again for this team that, frankly, didn't really show many signs of weakness whatsoever. Gotta give credit to the Vanguards specifically. Kizaru, 18-2 for holding the entire front lines and never breaking their stride.
And not only that, 10,700 damage in tow with 15k blocked on top of that. The back of Diamond Barrier. And then Tree Man, right? Opting in for the Captain America to really play that front line potential, the pressure, if you will, pretty much harassing everybody in line.
I mean, this is all just to enable Sapatic, who went 21-2.
Nasty.
Number 1. Never caught out. Never ever.
And I will say, just looking over the side chat, that somebody asking if Jasper was trolling on that Iron Man pick, which I don't like to be mean, but we had a Punisher there in our reserves on deck and not a single swap, which I imagine maybe you're playing into the mindset of, I want the Iron Man to work, and especially, you know, trying to play into the Pulse Bomb. I'm still a little perplexed by what we were trying to make work in the first place.
It must be a classic case. I'm no Sherlock Holmes. But I think
I don't want to be mean about it.
Oh, no, I will be. I want to see It was a classic case of tunnel visioning. As mean as I can be. I have fangs. Urgh.
Oh, wow. I
Sure
keep it up like this. We're gonna get a few DMs saying that, hey, commentators, stop being biased. Well, it happens.
I mean, I'll be biased to the winners. There's a reason why they won.
Oh, so we're just like going full maul today. Oh, goodness.
Oh, yeah. Every day.
On a Friday, no less. Brutal.
Hey, it's before the weekend. Got to get it out.
True. I mean, as much as I want to say I could go for a margarita after this, I've kind of stopped drinking, so maybe not my best thing.
Well, sometimes competitive Marvel Rivals makes you want to drink. I will say, though, I think both these teams played pretty well to the fact that we don't need the drink yet. But I will say I really want to see that swap to the Punisher in the next game. Even if it seems like it might be the obvious choice, you just needed more damage to come out. And the Psylocke specifically, if they're off-angling so much and they're able to get that much value being by themselves, someone's got to watch out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of predicting the Dance of the Butterfly to pop out just a little earlier. I mean, hey, not that much of an impact, but didn't even need that after the fact. Still to allow Zapatic to find another of our, resident Iron Man and still get the picks from there. But now leading into this next map, which, hey, if I remember correctly, should be Convoy either way. No more Hell's Heaven for the day. Now we actually have some change.
We've ascended to regular heaven, I suppose, especially if we go to Yggdrasil. But yeah, I'm curious where we're gonna go next. We've seen some variety, I think, in our convoy matches, but overall, I don't really know what to expect. I think Dawn Corps, again, they have great ideas in mind from both big and small scale. That Iron Protocol right now, it's up to them to really build that foundation off the best team in the league.
Right, and I have to ask, considering our picks and bans the last time leading into Hell's Heaven, what are you expecting, at least a little bit, going into Convoy?
Honestly, I think it's going to be the same as we've seen the other second games, these series, more counter bans. I don't think there was anything necessarily strong for Dawn Corps that, is a must ban. You could argue maybe the Psylocke could be a must ban, but realistically, it's not really getting rid of the problem. It's more so just a symptom of the problem, which is how strong a player can be off-angling. They're still going to find value off of another off-angler if you ban out Psylocke.
I mean, hell, exactly. Also, side note, every time I hear value for some reason, I get just a knee-jerk PTSD moment from one time I commentated Marvel Rivals, but if you know, you know. That was a while back, but hey, this is now. We have to lock it in. And surely we have some extra gas up in the tank for Iron Protocol. I am holding out so much hope for this team. I really am.
I mean, there's a lot on the line here. They could be the team to break the flawless streak for Dawn Corps. Not even just on a set level, which Dawn Corps is flawless at, but also just on an individual game level, which Dawn Corps has yet to lose in this league. Just one map.
And not only that, we have yet to get to a game 3 of today. That's the thing. No team has really kind of gone 1-1, at least just yet. Mostly, it's been back-to-back 2-0 clean sweeps.
That's right. Oh, and we're getting told we're going into game. Now we're going to see if there will be more counter picks this time around. The answer is we don't know yet. It hasn't started. There's a lot of Black Widows.
Don't you dare. We've seen the Black Widow only work very few times. It is funny to see the hover over, but already our first bans, at least on this game, the Punisher and the Magneto no longer in effect.
Okay. Punisher up against Dawncore, not something we saw Dawncore ever bring out, but I guess just in case, it's a very good stall tactic. Jaspa's hovering over the Hawkeye could be an idea about what this defense could look like, maybe more backline heavy.
You're right. Also the Psylocke ban, but that's going to be the Frost Protect, at least on the side of Iron Protocol. But now coming into it from Dawncore, possibly hovering over. No, that's full Luna Snow. With sustainability, at least in the afterthoughts.
Okay. Luna Snow gone against Iron Protocol. Well, we did see quite a few Luna Snows for both these teams before. We saw a very strategist-heavy ban select in game number 1 from Iron Protocol. It seems like this time, very duelist-heavy. Psylocke, as you mentioned, Ashe has been banned out. No ban again for Iron Protocol. This is 2 games in a row now.
Interesting.
Don't know why.
I don't want to sit here and say, hey, maybe they missed it. No, that feels intentional.
2 games in a row?
No, that feels intentional.
But why?
Oh, the Cloak and Dagger Protect, though. Want to play into the Eternal Bond?
Okay. I mean, we are seeing a very strategist-heavy ban select coming out from Dawncore. It's Luna Snow and Loki gone. I mean, there's a possibility Ultron could be the next ban, considering it's going to be Yggdrasil. And we did see a lot of Iron Man come out from Iron Protocol. Though I think a Cloak and Dagger ban would be a lot more harmful. Or Invisible Woman.
Right. I mean, let's think about it, the Psionic Burst and then leading into the Barrier Ulti. I mean, those would be some very drawn-out team fights now that I'm really considering it.
So now, in the strategist camp, if you want to go for the triple strat comp, it might force a team like Iron Protocol to maybe play the res comp with Adam Warlock and Mantis. Or we could see potentially, maybe, it's even hard to say, okay? There's a Luna Snow ban for Dawncore 2. So really maybe just like an Ultron as well. Cloak and Dagger if you don't want to go for the res comp. A Rocket instead from Iron Protocol. So it's looking like, okay, triple res, 1 duelist, 2 vanguards.
Right. And then inside of Dawncore, maybe wanting to opt instead for the Rocket Raccoon, to which Cosmic Yarn Amplifier be on the table. But then if you are Tree Man that hover over the Penny Parker, forget double BRB, maybe double Spider Nests, but on attack.
I don't know if we're gonna I don't know if we're gonna start off necessarily with with Penny or Rocket. See, the good thing about the Rocket Network is that it doubles the chances of getting a lot more armor packs at the start of a round.
True.
And you're at the attacker side, so you don't have to go very far to make it viable and swap back.
True. I just want some hope for the actual Rocket gameplay. Please, let me cope.
Well, we're definitely going to get it with the Yabujin.
Oh, 100%. Well, maybe. Well, yes. Of course, Dawncore for possibly the Venom coming out, maybe for the dive strat, seeing in from Kizaru.
Jasper's still on that Iron Man. Really trying to make this Iron Man Ultron combo work. And honestly, this is a much better situation to use it than we saw back on Hell's Heaven. Oh, Jasper! An early snipe against Frostin!
Okay.
One hell of a start. Okay,
Frostin.
Yes!
Even. And now, next team fight already. The wild start, student from Dawncore, but now on the side of Iron Protocol still playing into that dive strap. That's a panic on the Black Widow. Not what I was expecting, but if it works, it's working. I don't want to say a little too well already off rip, but that's a pretty one peak elimination.
Speaking of off rip though, Iron Protocol losing valuable figures on the board, that being the entire team outside of Yabujin, who's able to get out of dodge. Jasper, lucky for now, might not be the 1v1 against Frosted, who immediately swaps off of the Iron Man into a Hela to focus on the double flyers.
And already Frosted just peeking in behind. Oh, I got a little scary there. Let's see Jasper. But now, down below, getting slept. Jasper back up top, though. He's utilizing the drones. A pulse bomb here. Nasty work, just trying to get the sneak in. And now the fight against Frosted right now on the Hela. Still trying to find the setup off the flank point. And now tried it. And now it's going to be Frosted flying out of dodge. insanely well timed, and Zapatic still able to find Jaspa.
Very nice to see in point one. Practically given now to Iron Protocol's side. They're finding, well, I apologize, I saw the names in reverse. Dawncore's side, and that's going to be point one in their favor. Taylor Swift swapping over away from the Venom now into the Wolverine. A single Vanguard now for this defense.
All right, now Iron Protocol. Maybe one of the play more to the kidnap strap and the tank shreddage, and even one of the hard target Dawncore's back line. I say that Zapatic just being allowed to get away with almost a little too much here. If not careful enough, that would have been a nasty takedown. Iron Protocol still able to get out of the way in time. Now Tree Man playing into the Spider Mines.
Allium swap to the Mantis as well. This will be good for the damage buff again. Oh, for Frostin, who can one, possibly even just two-shot a lot of these flyers who have backed away. Jaspa is returning to the Punisher form.
And hopefully can make a big change that Iron Protocol, I mean, right now desperately need. Dawncore being allowed and given a little too much space. I don't even think Iron Protocol has a choice being staggered upon. And if you are Taylor Swift, you wanted to clear said space. Instead, now against Dawncore would have almost every ulti on the line, but Frostin in turn opting in for the Goddess of Death. But down below, not finding that much of an impact play.
Very interesting now. We go back to a double Vanguard setup. Jaspa on the Thor. Very rarely seen in pro play anymore after his recent changes. Does not last very long, however. All of Iron Protocol once again mowed down right at the final choke, allowing point two to go handedly in Dawncore's favor.
But that's nasty work already, and Iron Protocol would make the walk of shame. It's just back from spawn right now. Instead, playing the Star-Lord and trying to put the flip back. Now, Dawncore still opting in for these spare picks. Kizaru, however, back into Magneto. Now with the extra shielding abound, Iron Protocol making it a difficult challenge to try and push in here. And I will say, Maddie and Zapatic still able to find just one more. But now the Kraken impact going down in full force. Bassline finally getting peak elimination on Zapatic, and Jaspa following in turn. But now trying to opt in for at least a third. Rocket trying to escape as best as possible.
Oh, not able to achieve it though. That's going to be huge for Dawncore. Once again, Iron Protocol unable to leave their spawn. Tree Man now on the penny, set up right outside. You will get a barrage of spider bombs against you if you try to leave. Whatever damage they can find right outside, Tree Man's blocking everything and being funneled HP by two different strategists all in one. There's just no escape. And plus the Penny ult is ready in case you try to push. One defender did escape. They're directly on top of the payload. This is good now. Penny has her spider sweep set up and ready to go. All over the payload. Psionic seduction run out now by Taylor Swifty. It's back and forth for the kills. With only two Vanguards left, there's no healing whatsoever. And point three goes again handedly in the Dawncore's favor.
And you see the time left. That was 3 minutes and 29, almost down from 4. And now we're switching sides here. Iron Protocol, I don't even want to say have a mountain to climb. It is a Sisyphean task trying to push that boulder upwards. In this situation, push the convoy across. You're going to have to make some heavy counterplays, and more so against Dawncore's Black Widow on the form Zapatic. That was nasty stuff, having to deal with getting sniped out of the sky like that.
Exactly, and Zapatic was such a good idea to be anti-flyer against Iron Protocol. Now, having to completely change their strategies once more. No more Ultron, Sully on the Iron Fist. Oh no, never mind, double flyers. We're gonna go for the Storm Human Torch combo.
Interesting. So in the last time, or I should say the last game before this, we saw almost every single flyer banned. And now, if you are on either side, it is flyers abound. Whether it be with the Human Torch or whether it be with Jaspa on the Storm, it's going to be a fun time to see how this plays out, even more so now the Iron Protocol have triple strategist under their belt, possibly.
Just a matter of seeing if it can work out now. We're back to a 2-3-2. I apologize, 1-3-2 for Dawncore. A single Vanguard to work off of, no Emma Frost used. Instead, triple attackers. Dawncore, relatively uncontested. Oh, well, that's gonna be one gone.
That's foul.
Three-man,
That's
an alpha strategy we have not seen since the dawn of Marvel Rivals time comes back.
I was sitting here and I was almost certain that wasn't going to work. I don't want to say as well as it did, but we got one. And it was in the form of Bassline. Jumped through prematurely, gets taken down by a very interesting portal. And now Iron Protocol still on their way. Frostin playing a little close to ground, but I think that's the whole point. Get your shotgun fire damage and allows for Tree Man to find one Human Torch. But Yabza still going to get off the BRB beacon, and not going to be enough for the rest of Iron Protocol, however, as Dawncore all the way pushing them back to spawn another elimination from Tree Man.
It's a continuation of the defense. Iron Protocol are just not able to leave. At least this time they don't have Penny to worry about. Instead, they have the Human Torch, who's able to just lay down constant fire, ensuring no one can leave through unscathed.
Hell, we have constant fire from the Human Torch, and then even more so suppressive fire off of Sapatic. Finds another kill, and Sully and Yabajit has to get the BRB beacon revive on deck here, as Maddie back up top would have the extermination out in prime. But if Treeman has anything to say about it, finds one more, finds a second. That's Sapatic just giving back-to-back kills, and not a single thing that Iron Protocol can even do about it.
And just mechanically speaking, all of Dawncore are putting in their work. Each player knows exactly what they need to achieve and who to go after, finding the top most priority targets. Right now, Bassline, excuse me, has been able to make their way somewhat out of spawn. A wealth of damage applied against them. Eternal Bond is set up and ready off of FIFO, and we finally get to see it. But a Meteor M is set up and ready to snipe out that Cloak and Dagger, getting rid of the heals. And it's a double kill for Tree Man, resetting all of Iron Protocol.
Double elimination, almost make that a triple stack for Tree Man right now on the side of Dawncore. Iron Protocol, they wanted to set up for the Jeff NATO. I mean, hell, it would have to be the push, but even more so, Dawncore could just counter back. Really more so either off the clone to get the sustainability and heals, but then Frostin instead opting for the Supernova. The try and counter bats against the Omega Hurricane. That's one, that's a second. Goodbye, Jeff NATO. Hello, Fire NATO, as that's, of course, Frostin going down and out. But for Iron Protocol, really feeling the hurt here.
And we're seeing so many desperation spots now from Iron Protocol. Anything to unlock this convoy that has barely moved at all since the start of this round. Taylor Swifty swaps to Jeff now for the triple heals, and even that's not enough. Sully now was once Iron Fist, now facing up against the Spider-Man, trying to take this flyer out of the sky. Oh my god, it just keeps on going.
Oh no! But the Plasma Burst out in full force, and it's still gonna allow for the rest of Dawncore to get in as many kills as need be. And against Iron Protocol, Treeman finds one, finds a second against Bassline off the shrapnel into the shielding. And now that's gonna be a full retake here. 46 seconds left in Iron Protocol. If you have any gas left in the tank, Cosmic Yarn Amplifier might be the push you need to get the extra damage.
Even then, though, have to worry about one thing after another. Sudden Doctor Strange portal comes out. What is that going to block? Where is that going to go? It just feeds damage directly in, but finally the convoy moves. 20 seconds left on the clock. These could very well be the last ultimates we see of Iron Protocol in the entire tournament. And like you mentioned now, the CYA is finally out. FIFO is back again with the Eternal Bond, but the Meteor M for Treeman uncharacteristically misses. This is the chance. This is the best attempt we've seen yet. 5 seconds are left. And there's a chance to move forwards.
No way, dare I say it, the Eternal Bond kept you safe. And now if you're Iron Protocol, make it go from bronze to iron to gold as best as you can. Put the extermination in the sky, and Manny can go twice as high. Also fall twice as hard. Bassfire takes him down off the thorns. And now it's up to 3 in the side of Dawncore. 2 tanks, 1 strategist with Kizaru almost getting antied. Would not have been fun off the AoE. No choice but to expel it. And would have the Eye of Agamotto readily available. And here we go. Next engagement. Finds one, finds a second, and that's Iron Protocol starting to stagger a little too much with the Omega Hurricane full forecast in effect.
I don't know what's changed from Iron Protocol, but they're looking great now. Like you mentioned, Omega Hurricane is out, and suddenly we're seeing the collapse back from Dawncore. OT is out,
too late.
and just as good as it started for Iron Protocol, it suddenly ends. Again, a clean sweep from Dawncore. They remain unstoppable in Engage's tournaments.
Insane work, and that's a sweep here. 3-0 on INGAGE Convoy. Our last one, and our tree-man MVP, the bubblegum pink Venom. Insane skin, but either way, an insane game to have watched.
Beautiful work from Doncor once again. Every player put in their work and knew exactly what they needed to accomplish in the matchup. 33-1 off of Tree Man. Frostern was playing every hero under the sun and still ended up 35-4 with 16 final hits alongside Sapatic, who not far behind at 32-4 did a pretty dang good job.
Hell, not bad at all, which I will be very real with you. I wasn't even expecting to see the Black Widow, but we saw how oppressive that was. The suppression fire that really got plenty of value out of that one. And hell, a little bit of a shock, but an expected one. Let me say it that.
I mean, look, playoffs are next week, and Doncor, they're the team to beat. Every single team in playoffs need to focus on this one team in particular and make sure that there's a better chance for everybody else to win if they can be counterattacked super early. But that's it for us for today, Ash. This was a wonderful time getting to work with INGAGE and, of course, working with you as well.
Yeah, exactly. Which, as long as I've known you, I'm like, hey, Kay, can we ever work together? And this is our first time commentating Marvel Rivals now that I think about it, which is a shock to me, which I'm surprised we haven't met earlier in Valorant. But hey, new game, new time. We have plenty of that one. But again, I'd like to thank production for having us. It's been fun overall.
Yes, thank you so much again, INGAGE, for bringing us on. Thank you so much, players on all these teams, for having wonderful gameplay and showing us the best of what Marvel Rivals can do. We can't wait to see you in playoffs, and we'll see you next week. Have a good night, everybody.